ghost down the hallway. There's a presence, bedroom shadows, cloaked and haunting me, cold hand touching me, fear overwhelming me, tapping at my window. I can't bear to open my eyes. A breath on my neck, floating apparitions everywhere. Go to sleep with the light on. I wake up paralyzed. Ghostly apparition hovering over me, asking what it wants to know. I'm shaking now, it calls out my name, cloaked and haunting me, cold hand touching me, fear overwhelming me, tapping at my window. I can't bear to open my eyes. A breath on my neck, floating apparitions everywhere. Go to sleep with the light on. I wake up paralyzed. Who's holding my hand in the darkness? Seeing ghosts down the hallway. There's a presence, bedroom shadows, cloaked and haunting me, cold hand touching me, fear overwhelming me, tapping at my window. I can't bear to open my eyes. A breath on my neck, floating apparitions everywhere. Go to sleep with the light on. I wake up paralyzed. Ghostly apparition
Folks, that is the song that Nelly wrote. It's sung by Violet Helms. She's got a beautiful voice. My wife is actually a very talented woman. She can do a lot of different things. She writes poetry. And I'm actually a published poet too. People don't know that. I've actually been published. I wrote a song called I wrote a poem called The Desert Riddle. I don't know what happened to it, and I can't even remember the name of the book that was published in. My brother had 3 or 4 poems published, and also he's written music too. In my family, I'm the only one that's not really musically inclined. Everybody can play an instrument. They can sing, things like that, you know. I could sing okay. If I had a little bit of training, I know I could sing. I mean, I'm not joking. I've always had a pretty okay voice, but it's just never something I've aspired to, nor playing an instrument. I've always wanted to play a guitar, but yeah. My 2 of my nephews and my brother are all guitar. My dad could play the guitar. Me, no. I'm the pugilist. I was the pugilist. But yeah, my wife is very good at doing all kinds of things. She's written 2 other songs that they're being worked on, and they're going to be out for the show, the beginning, the intro. So if you like that, I just know that it's her. It's all her. I didn't do it. But it's good to have good people around you there, right? So unfortunately, we don't have a guest tonight. So I just had to, kind of suspicious too, the way it went down. So I'm going to be real honest. I'm not going to mention his name. But I thought that was kind of that was a little bit suspect, But that's fine. I'm not going to hold a grudge. I'm not a grudge holder, but I'm never going to work with this person. I can tell you that. You don't, message me at the 11th hour and not give me any good reason other than you just forgot about it. That's really, I'm sorry, Josh. I will not be able to participate tonight. For one, I had completely forgot about it. Again, I'm sorry. You're like, really? Yeah, I'm sorry I asked. So that's how it goes. An hour before we got on. You gonna tell me that? Because he doesn't believe in the way I believe, I guess. That's all it is. I mean, I was giving him a chance to have a voice, but whatever. Never said a word against this guy, but I'm pretty sure he's friends with one of the Filthy Five, so that's fine. Trust me, dude. I'll never work with you. Ever. Trust me. I was already like having reservations, man. People were telling me, man, should I give somebody the benefit of the doubt? So whatever. So I wasn't prepared for tonight, honestly. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing the UAP project. It kicks off tomorrow. It's the first episode. This is going to be every Saturday all the way through the month of March, if we can get it done. And these are all people in the community that most of them you'll probably know. They'll be people who are kind of like in between the cryptid and the UFO community. Some of them cover ghosts and things like that too. But this show, our show that we do here, all of us, this is a hybrid show. So if anybody really stops and breaks it down, I was talking to a guy the other day, and he's not into this at all. He's nothing. He's a personal trainer at the gym. And he says, I was listening to your show, and my wife asked me, guy's name is Doug, and Doug's a really nice guy. Anthony knows him. He's a personal trainer. And he says, he said, you might have been in earshot, Anthony, we were talking. But he goes, my wife asked me, what about your show? She tried to listen to it, and she couldn't put her finger on it. She said, it's a great show. She really likes it, but she doesn't know what it is. She thought it was like ghosts, because, paranormal, the ghost community is kind of taken that, but the word paranormal has been thrown on there too by everyone else. And I told him, I said, it's not like anything you would expect. It's not ghost. It's not Dogman. It's not Bigfoot. It's all of those. It's not just one genre. And he said, my wife was an abductee. Now, I haven't talked to her or him about this any further. He just says she's an alien abductee. And she says she dug into a few episodes and she found some stuff about alien abduction. And I told him, I said, hey, that's part of my wheelhouse, But the problem, though, folks, and not you. Y'all are my family. You're my paratroopers. Except for the few, I would say the 5 or 6 people that are listening right now, just so they can go and say something negative about me after the show. Hi, we know who you are. Okay. One of them, after I real quick, I want to say this, and I'll get back on track. After I did the show last night, okay, I'm not talking about the one I did with Blondes and Booze. If you didn't watch the Blondes and Booze episode, go check it out. It was really good. We had Rod Nichols on. He's an amazing guest. He's a cool dude. Really, really cool guy. From San Antonio, like 80 miles from here. Good guy. Something going on?
No, okay.
Yeah, and so, but, always something going on Fridays. We're trying to do the show, and there's always a million things happening. So go check that out. But I did an impromptu live. We got about 300 people or something. And folks, I spoke from the heart, and I tried to be completely transparent and honest and open. And I did everything. I said everything I could. And as soon as that was done, they were attacking me. They were attacking me. I didn't respond to them. I didn't feed into it. Other people were fighting with them. Talking about my dead mother. So that's what you get. That's what you get. You plead with them and you ask them to stop, and they just shake their head no, and to their own detriment. So if you go and you look at my Facebook, I hate to say this, I hate to do this, but I posted the truth right there on my Facebook. And this isn't something that was given to us recently. This was given to us like 2 months ago or 3 months ago. And, we kept saying this is what had happened. And people, I wanted to see who was who, who was who. And we had this. But we made peace a month ago, and so I decided to I was holding on to it, and I said, I'm not going to, I don't want to play like this. Let's end this. And it didn't matter who started what, whatever. But they've been recently saying absolute lies that we were not, we attacked them because they were preaching from the Bible, and I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Like, this is the most asinine stuff ever. Okay? Thank you for that donation. Thank you. Hey, Larry, what's going on? So, Curtis, thank you for that donation. I just can't believe. I can't believe that they would, and so after they attacked my mother, and I was shown that by a really close friend, he said, take a look. This is a friend from the old days. He said, look at this. He goes, I watched your live, and it pissed me off. And he says, you poured your heart out, and I know when you're being sincere, and I know you were being sincere, and then this is what they did. Disgusting. But thanks to you, enough people complained about that account that they were using to attack me that we think it got taken down last night. Now, we still have the fake profiles up of me going around saying all kinds of crap. The truth be told, folks, and this is what I really believe. I believe that because we are trying to do something that they are pushing back against. They don't want this. They don't want unification. There are multiple people who have tried to unify people over the years, and they usually end up dead. I'm not saying I'm going to be assassinated to be a martyr. I don't want that. I'm good, But that's what usually happens. Somebody will just take it upon themselves to kill them because they just don't want it. They don't want it. People are jacked, dude. They're messed up. They don't want to play nice. And they will lie and poison the well even if they don't have water to drink and they die of thirst. They'll suffocate you and themselves and die just to get to you. It's satanic. And what I mean by that, folks, I'm not telling you that these people are Satan. I don't know what they do. People have claimed that they are, but I don't have any proof of that. I'm not going to say that. I don't know what they do. But what I do know is that the stuff that they're doing to us is like almost like they can't control it. Like they are in a vehicle and someone else is driving it. And it's like demonic. It's satanic. It's like there are demons or something that manipulate this situation to make these people, thank you for that donation, Shade. It's hard. Yeah, exactly, Liberty. Thank you for that donation. Choking on their own spite. And me and Anthony were talking about it. It boggles the mind. Like there's no
rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't even know why they do what they do if you ask them.
They've given like 10 different reasons and excuses, and they've also changed the story and the narrative, how this started and why it started. I know Swamp Waters said that it was a $20 donation. That's not what happened. Those people were running me down, attacking me, raking me over the coals, and a guy that I thought was my friend went on there and donated money to them while they were doing it. And then he tried to spin it that it was just a $20 donation. No, it wasn't, James. You were my friend. Thought you were my friend. And then you called me another sickening name, racist name recently. And go ahead. Do whatever it makes your choo-choo run, dude. Buy fake subs. Buy views. Make AI-generated stories. Do whatever it is that makes you feel good. Because it's you that's going to have to stand in judgment for that, not me. You're the one that's all up in arms, all of you guys. You're like an angry hive of hornets, like a nest of wasps. I'm not going to say bees because bees are cool. You're not cool.
Bees are useful.
Bees are useful.
They produce, they create.
Then you got Anus the Menace, doing what she's doing. And I know you're Cleghorn, okay? It's her. I mean, you could say it's what's the other guy, whatever. But it doesn't really matter, though, because they're like a symbiote. They're like Venom. They work in lockstep together. Go look at the text I showed you. I showed everybody. It was a text between them. Someone had a attack of consciousness. They had an attack, and they said, you know what? They have a conscience. And I don't say attack. What'd you call it? They woke up to the reality of how evil these people were, and they came to us. And they gave it to us. Now, they keep saying that everybody's turning and going to them. Bull crap, okay? Why? Why would you go and bed yourself with that? But the opposite is true. People have been coming to us for months. And when the peace took hold, I just said, you know what? I'm done. I don't need any more. I'm not going to post this stuff. Last night was the last straw. I told you I gave you one last chance, and I said it last night on yesterday's live before I went on with Bonds and Booze. Thank you for that donation, Lakota Angel. Really are an angel. Thank you. And it's, I look at it like when I speak, I'm telling you the truth. I gave you that last opportunity, and who's this? Please, bro, can we start the subjects? No, we can't, because this is something that concerns the show. If you don't like it, get out. Get out of the chat. Go away. Go somewhere else. I don't have a guest tonight. I just told you that my guest canceled on me an hour ago, dude. Okay, so what do you want me to do?
We have 266 hour-long episodes where we're just talking about stories, right? Because if you're paying attention, you know that, right? It's not rocket science. You just go to the channel, you see, there's 266 episodes that I can be watching right now instead of complaining. So just go do that.
So I did a live yesterday, like I said, okay? And this whole, and besides that, dude, okay, if you don't know how this works, I'm waiting for the chat to fill up because we don't rewind, okay? So explain to them why we don't rewind too, please, so they know.
Well, we used to do these live streams with the ability to rewind, but what happened was people were not realizing that they weren't watching it live, that they were watching it 5, 10, 15,
Behind.
20 minutes behind.
Even an hour.
Yeah, and then they would make comments in the chat asking questions or making comments on stuff that we already talked about, that was already resolved, and then it was throwing off the whole flow of the comment section, and then it just
and then it caused arguments too.
Yeah,
in the comments.
Yeah, because it's easy to misinterpret what people say online or in text messages.
Yeah. So that's why we did that. And that was your call, Anthony.
Yeah, we just all want to be on the same page at the same time.
Nick's, I'm not upset with you. He says I wasn't being disrespectful. Just want to hear the subjects. I don't blame you. But Nick's and everybody else, just bear with me, okay? When we get to 300, we'll start cracking them. I'll use these that I got in here, and then I'll go back to the computer, pull out the files, and there's no shortage.
Yeah, it's just
Let me show you something right here, if I can.
If we see someone who seems kind of new, we got to keep them on a kind of a short leash at this point.
What was that? We get a bunch of news stories on here, constantly. Well, some of these people have their names on there, so I probably shouldn't do that, but they're right there, okay? There's every day. I got right here, I'll count. 1, that's not that one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got 9 news stories from yesterday and today. So for 2 days, 9 news stories. There's no shortage. It's not like there's a great toilet paper shortage. This isn't the toilet paper shortage of the pandemic. You got lots of stories, dude. So don't worry. I'll use what I have for Sunday today, and then I'll go tomorrow before I do the show again tomorrow night, which is going to be about the UAP, but it's going to be really good. You guys should tune in. You're going to like it. Trust me. Jason McLean's coming. He's a really good guest. And then we're going to do it again on Sunday. Okay? I promise you, I'm going to bring my A game. This guy screwed me. Okay? Big deal. So what? Don't care. Okay? He's nobody. I don't give a crap. I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to go there because I am pissed. I am very upset. I'm not happy at all. He knew what he was doing. I really believe that. I think he did it on purpose. So, Maddie, thank you for that donation. So, that being said, I don't care, but yesterday, I don't care about the guy, who cares? But yesterday, I tried to appeal to these people. It didn't matter. It did not matter. They're heartless, and they're gutless, and they hide, and just started trashing, talking about my mother. So today, I put what I had on there, I put it on my Facebook. It shows you the truth, folks. The account that they used to start this war was theirs. And Annis, you knew about it, or you were a part of it, or it was yours. Go read it, folks. And funny thing is, you think I'm this horrible, evil, bad guy. I had this information for a while. But we had peace. And people in my camp wanted to expose this. And maybe I should have let them do it. But I said, I want to appeal to them one more time to stop. There is no doubt now. 100%. You guys started it. You did this. Susie Jago, thank you for that donation. There's no getting around it. And then you got your account. I think your account got shut down yesterday, the fake one. I'm sure they'll just make another one. No. Because you never.
Well, no, it's back now.
Oh, it's back up?
Yeah.
So, okay. So it got pulled and then put back up?
She probably deactivated it and then brought it back and reactivated it.
Yeah. And we know it's you. And, a lot of people think that you're the puppet, but it's not. Y'all are symbiotic. Y'all two together. We know that. And it's sad. It's really sad. I don't know. I pray for you. I especially pray for him because I think that he may have some redemption. Her, no. I see a totally black aura around her. She was angry when this piece took place, and she vowed that she was going to destroy it. But the thing you got to remember, though, too, is, he knew about everything, and so did she. And we knew this. We knew this. Thank you, Deborah, for that donation. You think I'm this bad guy, folks? These people, they want to paint me out to be this bad guy. I sat on that for 2 months. When the peace took hold, I figured, why does it matter? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who started or who did what. Peace is peace, right? And then you go and you attack my dead mother, trying to get a rise out of me. Mm-hmm. I saw the messages too. I was getting the screenshots, and I'm like,
after making like these weird sexual comments to me, and then like I told her like, hey, I'm not comfortable with that, and then she tags my name with like a bunch of hearts, and then she left some sexual comment like about you. So she's a sick, nasty person.
Sick, nasty person, and that's his right or his left hand. Mm-hmm. And so what they did was, I wouldn't respond to them, so they just kept on and kept on. Where are you at, Josh? Come on, Josh Turner. Where I was at was work. I had to be somewhere where I had to pay attention and do my job. It's something you don't understand. Now, I know you do, psychologist lady, because you have patients that you manipulate and do all kinds of horrible stuff to. Keep it up. We have more. There's more. Believe me, things that have it's ugly. We'll go to PRT News. You'll see. Keep it up. You want to be completely and utterly destroyed? Because we could do that. You're playing a game right now, and you think you're in the lead. You're so far behind, you think you're winning. You've been lapped about 3 times. I've been nice. I have been nice to you. I have been nice because I am a very nice, merciful person. But I have my limits. And you're not going to stop us. You're not going to slow us down, okay? Gwen, thank you for that donation. I love you guys. PRT is an awesome show. Everyone is like family. Thank you. We're almost at 300 people, and then we can start. I just hate that some people come in late, and it may or may not be their fault. Whatever, they got something to do. This isn't everybody's life, you know. And then they'll come in, and the stories are in the middle, you know. So you know, I'd like to get as many people in before we get started. And then Lucas Biggs, thank you for that donation. Shirt game on point as always. Yes, this is the Predator. I like this shirt.
That's a cool shirt.
Yeah, I had it in my closet for a while. See, I'm one of those people, and Anthony can attest to this. And people that know me know this. I have patience. You'd be surprised. I've had this shirt for about 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And I had it sitting there, and I had other shirts to wear, so I was like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. And I had a really good friend who's a big Predator fan, and he saw the shirt. He said, "Dude, you got to wear that." I said, "I will." I was thinking about getting an Aliens. I was going to wear an Aliens one, but I was like, I like Predator better.
Yeah, the aliens were gross.
Yeah, but it's cool though. The shirt is really
Xenomorphs.
cool. I thought it would be a cool shirt, but I don't know. Linda in your dreams says, Wolf, love the new intro song. Nelly is amazing. Where can we find the song to download it? Much love to the PRT family. We just got it hot off the press like 2 days ago. So we don't even have it set up to be bought yet. We got the werewolf song back, and we decided, I personally thought it was cool. And I thought that the alien abduction song was cool too. But Nelly and Anthony are, you know, they're more like, Anthony's the sound guy, and Nelly was like, oh, you know, so they're more perfectionists, I guess, when it comes to that. I'm kind of like, hey, whatever, you know, I'm like a dog, like, I'm happy. They're like cats. Nah, you've got to work for it. You know? So, cool. I decided to just do whatever you guys think. I mean, we talked about it as a team, as a committee, and, you know, we decided, you know, it's not perfect. So they're going to try and tweak it a little bit and see what we come up with. And once it's all said and done, I'll tell you where you can find it and whatever. So we're almost at 300 here. So I have a friend who decided, I just called him before the show started. I said, hey, got canceled on me. He told me it was probably he said it was probably a good thing.
Yeah.
When I told him, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's." He didn't know that. I mean, we don't talk every day. We talk probably 2 or 3 times a week. And now that he's very busy. But I had a very good phone call last night with Chris Garetano, another very good friend of mine. He will be on the UAP project, not this next Sabbath, this Saturday after. He's going to be on the show. And Garetano, it's going to be about the MK Ultra, of course, the stuff that went on at Camp Hero and the alien connection, and he's going to talk. We didn't really get into that a whole lot when he was on the show, those 3 episodes, about the aliens.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about when he comes on. But I was on the phone with him last night, and he's got big news, big news. And I don't know if I should say it or whatever, but I couldn't be happier for him.
Oh, yeah.
And I told Chris, I said,
awesome.
This is the kind of stuff, like, some people, when somebody makes it, they're jealous automatically, and then they get upset because that person made it. Like me, if any one of my friends make it, I'm happy that I'm their friend. That's how you should look at it.
Yeah.
Not like, let's be angry and jealous because, well, they did it, and they think they're all that in a bag of chips. Like, they are, you know? And be happy, you know? So he wants to do a project with me. And that, you know, was also, I'm honored that somebody that's rising up like he is actually wanting to do something, you know. I didn't know how I felt about it at first, But you'll see when it starts to come, when it all shakes out, we'll see what happens. But I definitely, he talked me into it last night. I think I'm going to do it. And we actually are in the process of writing a screenplay together too. So that's something to be looking for. But I don't know if we should tell anybody.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, we can't tell him what he's got going on.
Keep it under wraps.
So we'll keep it under wraps, but suffice it to say that he's about to be making it really big. I mean, he's done a lot of hard work. That's the thing that really aggravates me.
Yeah.
Is when somebody says something negative about somebody and you're like, dude, do you have any idea how much work these people do?
I mean, especially to make it nowadays, because I think that today when you see someone make it, it's a lot more impressive because it takes a lot more to revive the whole American dream thing today. Like, because we're long past the days of like raising a family of 4 and on one income, a 40-hour-a-week job, full benefits, 401k, and taking vacations. Like that time's over, and it's never coming back. Not for my generation, not for the one after, not for the one after. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
So to see someone pull themselves up today and make it like that, it's a beautiful thing. But they have to work and work and work like twice as hard as anyone in a past generation. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually talking to David or Weatherly about that one day, you know, and it's like those days are gone.
Yeah.
You know, and when you talk to some of these old school authors too, they're very disconcerted about the rise of the AI books. You know, people can go online and just write a book. I mean, like I'm like 5 months into this, you know, not 5 months, 4. It'll be 5 by the time it's done. That's a book, you know. It's not some quick ass thing you just go and do. I just wrote a book. Yeah, it took me 10 minutes. I was on the computer, typed in some words.
Yeah.
You know, donkey ass breath, and some came. I'm there. I did it, dude. I wrote a book. You're not an author, okay? And I'll say this to the guy I was just talking about earlier from the swamp. You wrote 40-page pamphlets, dude. The Germans dropped propaganda over Europe that was heavier than that. In fact, I think they might have even unalived a few people.
I think
from just the pamphlets they dropped.
I think those pamphlets were even more informative about Dogman and cryptids than his books were, actually.
My struggle of Dogman.
And they were probably easier for native English speakers to read.
Yeah,
even though they were in
German. Yeah, exactly. But actually, little known fact, they didn't just drop them in German. They actually dropped them in many different languages, and they weren't the only ones that did it, because people don't know they actually had a lot of different allies. Romania, Hungary, Bulgaria, Finland, Italy. They had a bunch of allies, including Japan. Japan's like their most famous, I guess, but they had a lot of people that were actually helping them.
Yeah.
Not going to get into all that. It's too much, too in depth. But anyway, history is history, right? So here we go. So let's get started here. I'm going to tell you this, and then I'm going to bring on somebody, okay? Because it just matches me. We're good. We're going to have somebody that's going to come on and talk for a little bit. But let's get started here. Here's one that I was going to tell, and now I'm doing something new, folks. And if in case you're not and you haven't been keeping up with it, check it out when I go live on the impromptu lives. Every time I go live on an impromptu live, I made a decision that I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to give you an encounter because, like I said, I got 9 just in the last 2 days. Oddly enough, I didn't get anything the day before. Like Wednesday was like a desert. I didn't get one story from anybody. Not even on Messenger. I usually get like 10 a day on Messenger.
It was a coordinated bombardment.
Yeah. I kind of got spooked. I told Nelly, I was like, something weird going on maybe. And so I was looking at my email. My email wasn't just rolling like it usually is. And I was like, that's odd. But Thursday and today, between the 2 days, I got 9. I haven't gone like one day without getting a story on my email, and probably, or through my 3 different emails, in probably like 2 years, I would say. Maybe not that long, but it's been a while since it was slower, you know. But I get a bunch. And so, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that people like the way I tell stories and they want me to tell their stories. And sometimes you'll give them the option and then, no, you tell it, you know, I like the way you tell it, whatever. And so, so anyways, I got this story. This one comes from a girl named Christina, and she told this story. This happened right outside of Lubbock, Texas. Okay. Now she was born and raised in Lubbock. And I'm sorry for that. I feel bad that she had to endure being in that horrible, awful place. Flat, ugly, dust in your eyes and in everything you own, pretty much constantly. It's a gross place. I'm not gonna lie. But she was born and raised there, and she said when she was a kid, she's like, you're not gonna believe this. She's like, when I was a kid, she's like, I was like, she was 13. It's not like she was little bitty and whatever. So this wasn't like some imagination thing that she maybe or maybe not had happen, whatever. She said, my brother we have tarantulas out here, okay, right? There are tarantulas here too. But out in West Texas, I've heard stories of some really big ones. But this was freaky. This was downright freaky. Her brother and his friend were poking something with a stick. And her brother's about 5 years younger. He's like 8 years old. And she goes outside. And she's like, she's supposed to be watching him. And she's like, I'm not going to lie. I was watching Brady Bunch, not paying attention to this kid. He's out there doing whatever he's doing. She's a little bit older than me. So, she was watching Brady Bunch, reruns, whatever. Kid's out there poking something with a stick. Then he comes inside and he begins to look for hairspray. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I need hairspray. She's like, no, you don't need hairspray. You don't need, no. So she's like, he's like, okay, well, come outside. I want to show you something. And he had tried to get her to come out earlier. She goes outside. She's like, I kid you not. She's like, this is years ago. This was like back in the 80s, right? She's like, I go outside. She's like, and I see this dog like run and go down into this hole. And she was like, oh, look at that. She's like, she's like, it was on the ground and it went down into the hole. And she's like, that dog? And he goes, no. Come look. You got to see this. They go over to the hole and she sees what looks like a dog, like the back legs of a small dog. And now if you're upset easily, folks, you might want to tune out because this is what she found. She hears a hissing noise. And the other kid that's with him takes this stick and pokes, and then she sees these spider legs come around the other side of this, what turns out to be a dog carcass. And she's like, oh my gosh. I'm sorry, spilling tea. I don't want to, but this is what happened. Her brother decided to go ahead and bring some flammable something, she said it was like paint or something. And she took the lighter and she did it herself and she burned it. And she could see the fire like starting to take hold, or whatever, and it came out. She said that this spider easily could have spanned not a dinner plate, but like a turkey tray. Like
wow.
It was the size of like a small
Gross.
Turkey. And she says it came out, and she's like, and it went right at us. And she's like, it was on fire.
But you wish you had that hairspray now.
Well, she was using it. She was using
she had it.
a
Okay,
paint can, because her brother had grabbed something else. And she's like, she said she couldn't remember what it was. But she said it was flammable. And she said she kept spraying it, until it was like empty. And the thing was walking around on fire. And her brother and his friend were hitting it with sticks until it finally smushed and died. And then she told them, let's go back inside, whatever. And they just sat there. And she's like, I sat there by the window looking at this thing. Her dad comes home from work and asks her what's going on because he had called up to his job. He goes out there and sees this. And she's like, it's almost unrecognizable. But he flipped it over and then you could see what it really was. Now, the description of this thing would have been like this. Like that's about the size of a turkey tray, And it was big enough that it was eating a dog. Like it had been, and we don't know if it killed the dog or if it found it dead. She said that area, people were dumping stray dogs off all the time. They'd get hit by cars. So we don't know if it actually went out and killed it. And she doesn't know what kind of spider it was. She just knows it was black.
It's like one of those Jumanji spiders.
So people say, well, they can't get this big. They can't, and there's this one entomologist who's like bullcrap. He's down in not Peru, Chile. And he's told me, no, that's bullcrap. Don't believe it. He's like, they can get huge. They can get really huge. And especially when there's a lot of oxygen, they can, but I think some of these things are just like, I mean, there's some that are just freaks.
Yeah.
They get freak, they're freak in nature that just grow and they can't, they just grow. And you're just like, dude, I mean, So that story, I had to tell that story. I mean, I could go on. I've now compiled about half a dozen, maybe even more stories, at least half a dozen stories. We could do another episode on spiders, and we were given to this. There was a guy who was from Ecuador, remember? And then he introduced it to another guy from Chile, an entomologist. And then there was another guy who's an anthropologist who was telling us some stuff. And so we talked to some people, and they actually gave us like a few different witnesses. They gave us 4, actually, between the 3 of them. And I've spoken on the phone to 2. One, I had to use a translator because I don't speak Portuguese. But it was quite telling, Oh, man. And then there's one that we got from the Yucatan in Mexico where this person claims that their family member was bitten on the back by one of these things. I'm not going to get into it right now. Should I get into it right now? Should I just tell the story right now?
Just make it worse.
You know what? I want to tell it, but then I got to save it for the show, for the podcast, because the podcast has to have a certain amount of, But it's really crazy. He witnessed this as a young man. He watched this happen, and this cousin, his family member's cousin, nearly died from this thing when it bit and it held on to her, and it was so big. I mean, it was such a big. And there's a whole story behind it, but anyway. We'll move on from spiders. They're creepy.
We should make some of the really good ones, like conditional. Like I just had an idea. So there's 366 people in here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we should require like a certain percentage of likes on the video before we tell like it's a story that they really want to hear. Like at least 50.
Or we just hold them hostage and make them give us donations. That's.
Like, we're not even at 50% like ratio. There's 363 people and 136 likes.
I don't want to do that to people, man.
Y'all got to hit that like button.
Is that?
Are we going to start starving?
I guess asking for a like is not. That's not like That's not the same as holding stuff hostage for money. I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I guess that's not. Folks, what do you think? You're the listeners. Do you think it's too much to ask to say, hey, look, I'll tell the story if you put the likes on there, or is that too much? Is that too much? Let's see what they say.
Gotta hit that like button, Shay. Man, Shay.
Story. Nope, not too much. No, I mean, if you think it's wrong, just tell us, and we won't do it. No, that's very reasonable.
Only half the people here gotta hit it.
Like button is fuel for paranormal stories. There you go. Not at all. I think it's fine.
Oh, this guy with his comment.
What was?
Maybe flirt with us a little and we'll hit it.
Yeah, okay. What was it that my brother would always do when it was something?
What?
And it was like there's 2 different meanings to it. And he would lift up his pant leg, or what's that? There was something that we would ask him, and then he would do that.
He would lift up one of his pant legs?
Yeah, he would go, ooh, like he was like, what is it you're trying to?
Oh, like flashing his leg?
Yeah, but what was it though? There was a saying or something that we would because there's 2 different meanings to it.
Oh, I don't know. Oh crap! It worked. We went from 135 likes to 199, like in less than a minute.
So there you go. Then that's how we get likes. We just withhold stories.
So y'all were holding out on us, huh?
Yeah.
But not hold out next time, Shay. Yeah.
Oh no! What was it? I would say, "Hey, can you turn on the light?" And he would go up to the light switch and like pull his pant leg up. That's what. And my brother's a ham. Like he everything is a joke.
Yeah.
If we're sitting there at the Alamo and we're about to die, he'd be like, "Dude, there's a lot of guys out there that don't like us." Yeah, everything's a joke. I mean, I know sometimes it's you gotta, but come on, there's a point in time when you got to get serious. Bless his heart though, he likes to joke. He's not in the chat. Get him and Scorpio in here.
All right.
and they just everything's funny, right? Anthony, the enforcer of Paranormal Likes. Anthony and Tony are actually the enforcers for a lot of things because they don't, they see things the way it's, me, I try to be nice. And it's true. I really do try to be nice. And people think that I'm this bad guy. You don't know me. I can be a really, 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 but that's more of like who I once was, not who I am. And I try to be who God wants me to be today, What are they at right now? Are we withholding there, or what are we doing here?
We're at 222 likes.
Okay. So do we need to make it like a prerequisite? Everybody needs to get a number of likes before we tell people the stories? Or
Well, I mean, like,
what are we doing? I don't know.
maybe like you can just. I'm just talking about for the future, like. But okay, so we saw like in the here and now, we don't have to do that, but we saw that it worked. Like instantaneously, we went from 135 to like 200 likes.
Wow.
But
So what is it about the like thing that people
well, if you hit the like button on a YouTube video, it helps the YouTube algorithm to promote it. So there's like the more likes a video has, the more likely it is to pop up on someone's home feed.
I knew it had a lot to do with where your where your video gets placed on YouTube, but like what I meant was like, is it just something that people don't do because they're being lazy?
I mean, they probably don't even think about it,
Because they definitely don't match the number of views.
No, I mean, like the average YouTube viewer, like that, they might not even be aware of how helpful that is to hit the like button, because like they don't, like if you're not a YouTuber, then you're not gonna look into like, okay, how does the YouTube algorithm work?
Deborah says you have to leave the chat to hit the like button. Is that true?
Yeah, I think if you're on your phone, yeah.
Yeah, you're on
like
your
you have to exit the chat and then hit the like button and then go back.
Okay. Well, that's probably part of it too. They don't want to be rude and just maybe they don't want to leave. I don't know.
No, I mean, like you don't have to leave the whole video. Like you just hit the little X on the chat and you hit like and you go back to the chat.
Because like we said before, we don't want to put anything behind a paywall. We don't want to do that.
No.
We're very adamant about that. We're trying to keep it, a bunch of people that we know do that, and that's fine. They do it because that's their living. They do it because they have to make a living at it. I'm not doing this for a living. What's funny, though, is somebody I had said on the comment section one day, and they were talking trash, and I didn't even take the comment down. Like I said, I don't take comments down. I don't care. Leave it up there. It's truth is truth. Let them say what they want. But this comment was like, this guy actually thinks that he could do this for a living. I'm like, yeah, I do. I really do. I think I could do this for a living. I mean, what's wrong with that? This guy was like, I think it was a guy. It had a guy's name, but they were trolling, making fun, and it could be anybody. But they were acting like, I suck at this so bad that I couldn't do it. And I'm like, we have 30,000 people on YouTube and way more of that on the podcast. So, I mean, I don't think we're sucking at it. Yeah. It's not out of the realm of possibility that someday I will retire from my businesses and do this. The only thing is right now, I mean, the show and what we make on the show would have a lot of catching up to do before it would be feasible for me to stop doing what I'm doing, But to just walk away from a financial standpoint, that would be not hard. I mean, you're not going to lose, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And we are putting a lot of money into the show too. And the thing is, let's not lose sight of the fact that I want this to be fun. The day that this stops being fun for me, I'm going to quit. I'm just not going to quit. I've never really lost my passion, no matter what has happened, even with the people punching at us and going at us and doing everything they're doing. Hey, Tony, you want to say hi?
Hey, everybody.
Where's your partner?
Hang on. Let me turn your mic up. All right, there we go.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? How's everybody
You still
doing?
fix that button?
What button? Oh, no, I mean, I try, I fix it. I would set it with a website, but that website's messed up, so I got to find some software to fix it.
Well, he wasn't on camera.
Oh, he wasn't?
The camera's on me.
Oh, crap.
They missed that.
You missed his epic arrival.
All right, well, just pretend that you don't see him.
Slim Jimmy, thank you for that donation. Slim Jimmy, what a name.
Oh, now you want to run off.
Man, he wants to come over here to me. What's up, buddy?
Oh, he's right there.
Oh, I thought he was coming to me. What the hell did I see? Wasn't a tarantula, was it? I thought I saw something brown under the table. I guess, you know what, though? That could be an example of like where you expect to see something, and so your mind makes it happen. I had a person give me a story. No crap. I kid you not. This lady gives me a story. She's a very honest person, though, and she gave me this whole story. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's a banger story. That's an awesome story. So I'm going to tell that on the show like now, you know. Next day, she messages me back and she says, oh, never mind. It wasn't. It was my son was home and it was him doing it. And it was right before Halloween and he had a costume on. And now their house is haunted. She said that. They live up in Michigan, you know. And she said that. And her son walked through the house really quickly while she was on the computer and she sees this headless ghost thing, you know. And she's like, oh my God, you know, she got freaked out. And they're Armenian too. And she was telling me some of the stories, like Armenian, like legends and stuff. And she was telling me all this stuff. And she's like, and then I see this headless man walk through. And then a couple days later, her son's like, yeah, that was my costume. I was going to a party. And then she messages me back. She's like, never mind, take that out. That did not happen. Because she could have just let it ride. Then I could have, you know, told the story and been like, oh, that's, you know. So she was very honest. Thank you for being honest, though. Okay.
Thank
It
you.
reminds me of that funny story you told me about, like one day you were watching.
Thank you, Amy Creel, for that donation.
Oh, thank you, Amy. About you listening to a Phil Henry skit one day in your truck, and like there was like all this commotion going on in the background, and the guy was like panicking, thinking he was getting broken into or something. And then he comes back on the radio all panting. He's like, "Never mind, that was just my cat."
Like that was actually
what was
Phil
it?
Henry.
I don't remember.
Well, sadly, he was making fun of that General Jameson, and it was making fun of a guy that was a recurring guest on Art Bell's show. And he's like, General Jameson, are you okay? You know how Art Bell talks?
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, I'm under attack. There are aliens under my bed. Bang, 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 bang. And he's like, oh my gosh, General Jameson, are you okay? And he's like, I'm fine. It was just my cat. And he's like, oh no. He's like, yeah, it's bad. I'll call you back. And then but it was Phil Henry doing the skit, pretending to be Art Bell and that dude that would come on his show. And General Edward James Ames, whatever it was, you know. But I loved Art Bell. But dude, that guy, he would make fun of people like it was golden. Like and make people just. The thing I got tired of with that show though, and I quit listening to, is just because he kept doing the same 2 or 3 people. Like he had all these different characters. Yeah. But he would do like these same 2 or 3. You know, it was just it got kind of redundant. You know, the lady from the HOA one was like, come on, you know, it's like enough. You know, but he was funny, man. Yeah, it was called the Phil Henry Show. I don't even know if it's still around. But he knew Art Bell, like, personally. They were friends. Yeah. And he would make these goofy skits or whatever, and I guess Art just took it in stride. But, so anyways, folks, I'm going to tell you a story, and y'all want to hear the spider story? Do you want to hear that second one that I had? Or do you want to hear a Dogman story? Because I got one in the chamber for you. I'm going to let you decide.
I think we're getting a lot of the
Spider. Dogman, Spider. Well, Dogman. That's pretty even. So, I don't know. How do we break this one? How do we do this?
A squonk. Let's do that.
Squonk.
So there's so many different, the Spider, Dogman, Spider. Tell them both. Well, I may not have time to tell both, so somebody break this tie here. Let's see what we got. Do the poll. Gotta do a poll to get the story out. I don't know.
think a good spider story will kind of.
Well, we just told one, though. That's the thing. We told another spider story. We told the Dogman story. Dogman times 80.
Well, that counts for 80.
Well, somebody throw a you don't have, it doesn't have to be a big one, just 99 cents or something to put, let's see, do something. Like
I'll tell you what, whoever.
we can have them answer a question.
Well, I was gonna say whoever's the first one to just drop like the cheapest super chat, like a 99 cent super chat, with whatever they want to hear. That's what we do.
Yeah, that way. Yeah, that's a good one. Flip a coin. I don't even think shoot, man, I don't even have a coin in here.
I made one.
What is that?
It's just like sticky putty that we use for certain things.
There we go. Curtis Turner said $1.99. Signed.
What is that?
Thanks, Curtis.
That doesn't help. I mean, it helps. I mean, but what does that mean? Signed.
That doesn't tell us what story that we need to tell.
There we go. Shaped like what?
Okay.
Okay, guys.
All right. So I mean, not that we're not appreciative, but this is for to decide what we talk about. There we go. Valerie says anything on
Double Aaron, look, he did the same thing.
Okay, this is not what we're talking about. I mean, we appreciate it. We do appreciate it, but we're trying. Spider.
There we go.
Thank you.
Mary
Okay.
Pilar got what we were trying to do. Thank you to those people who donated. We appreciate that. That's not. We're not telling you not to. We're just telling you.
There
Let's
you go.
get
That's 2 spiders.
the spider story. Okay. So this one happened down in the Yucatan of Mexico, and the guy that gave this to us, and it was Dogman. Oh, you're late, Cool Hand, but I appreciate the donation. Thank you. We're good for whatever. But if you want to donate, that's fine. But that's not. We were just trying to get somebody to tell us, So what happened was the guy that gave us this story. We'll call him Alex. I mean, it doesn't matter. His name's Alejandro, but I mean he goes by Alex, and he lives up here. And he told us this one day at a bar that we were hanging out in, and that wasn't too long ago. I mean, it was over at Ash's bar, and he said, "Dude, I got a story for you." Now, he personally, was there when this happened. And I had told this guy about my show one day because he was DJing. And so I gave him my information, whatever. And he says, yeah, whatever. So the next time I went in there, his friend was DJing. And like I said, he was down in the Yucatan of Mexico. He's not really from Mexico, but his family lives down there in the Yucatan. And the area where they live is very beautiful. It's very pretty. It's lush, it's green, and it's jungle. And one of the weird things he told us was that, and get this, they eat iguanas. Now, I knew this because my friend Beto was one of my brothers from back in the day.
I was going to say I knew as well.
You knew Beto, yeah. But thank you for that donation, Linda Webb. We appreciate it.
You can back it up.
And so, what happened?
I was telling Tony he can back the mic up a little bit because they're probably hearing him breathe.
So, yeah, stop breathing. Don't do that. So what ended up happening? He tells us this story. He goes, dude, there's spiders down there that are bigger than the iguanas. And so we're all sitting there and we're like, what? Like, really? And he says, yeah. He goes, dude, they eat the iguanas. I kid you not. This is what he told us. Tyler, thank you for that donation. I was like, they eat iguanas. He said, yes. Now, of course, on my show, we've talked about oversized spiders before. This isn't something new. It's not like we've never heard of this. But I was like, tell me more, And he says, well, I got a story I'll tell you. He don't have time tonight because I'm about to leave. And he was just finishing eating and he had to go. And he was just kind of there to support his buddy, his roommate. And he was spending, And so I said, okay, cool. And so he messaged me a couple months back and he gave me this story. This is what he told me. And I started talking to him. And I was driving, actually. And I was like, unbelievable. His cousin, Marie, when she was young, she was about 14 or 15 years old. He said he was in his early 20s. He was there visiting. They were walking through this path, and there's like jungle down there, right? And he says, dude, she says, be careful, watch where you walk. And while she's saying that, she turns and gets caught up in a web. And then she's like, ugh. And then she starts freaking out
time to
and
panic.
Screaming. Now, he had heard the stories growing up when he would go down there. Every year he would go down there. And in the summertime, he would visit there. Sometimes as much as 2 to 3 weeks he'd be down there, but he never saw any of these spiders that they talk about. They would see big ones about but he said, dude, no mentiras. He goes, I saw this one, big time. And he said, dude, what I saw was like something out of a nightmare. He's like, it was on my cousin's back and it had bit down onto her back and she was screaming. He said the fangs were about 1.5 inches long. He's like, and this thing was black. And he goes, I could see every eye on this piece of crap. And she turned, and as she turned, she got further into the web. And so her cousin said, no, don't pull it. Don't pull it off because it'll tear a chunk of your skin out. And so they had to take this spider and pick it up with it moving around. And it was bigger than his cousin's hand. And he goes, and we pulled it off, and you could see the fangs come up off of her and blood come out of her shoulder. This is what he told me. And he said, dude, and he goes, dude, my cousin nearly passed out. He's like, there was blood pouring out of her back. And he said that this thing is venomous because, folks, I don't care what anybody says, it poisons somebody. All spiders are venomous. It just depends on how it reacts to you. But every spider is venomous. And sometimes a bite can be no worse than a wasp sting, which is sometimes people are allergic and they can die. Some people can get bit by a black widow. My friend got bit 3 times by a black widow and he lived. My wife was bitten by a black widow and lived twice. She got bitten in the leg. Same one. Lived, right? Didn't do anything. But sometimes people have a reaction to these things and they can die. And I'm talking really quick. And so anyway, his cousin was having a reaction. They rushed her to the hospital. They took the spider and they threw it on the ground. And unfortunately, they tried to kill it and it took off. It got away. And so they just kind of tossed it on the ground and it escaped or whatever. But then the reason that it's important that they unalive it and capture is because then they can show the people at the hospital.
What type of spider?
Yeah. When they described it to the people at the hospital, they had no clue what that was. Now, there was one doctor there that said, look, I've heard of this. I think I know what this is. Unfortunately, there's no cure. So what they do is I think they give them like adrenaline or something and let it run it through, whatever. And that's all they could do. There's nothing they could do. And so she hovered between life and death for like a day. And then eventually she, and they tried to get as much of the venom out of her. It was like in a big sack right there. They cut it open and all this sap came out. It injected her with a heavy amount of venom. The name of this spider is like Arancina negra. That's all it is, like the black spider. That's what they call it. They don't really know what it is. He said that it has a blackish brown look to it, and it is humongous. And it is a very nasty spider. And if you get into its web, it will bite you. Now, there are people that will say, well, I've never heard of this. I've never seen this, whatever. I've never heard of it or seen it either. That doesn't mean it's not there. And like I said, we have a friend. Well, he's not a friend, but he's somebody that reached out to me because my friend Bennett's actually an archaeologist. Actually, 2 of my friends. My friend Morgana is too. She's actually working in Egypt. And recently, she sent me a photo of a spider that was sitting on the floor in the desert. And I don't know if we should, because if you post a photo, then everybody starts talking, so I didn't post it, and I don't really post photos. But it was huge. It was big. And it wasn't like it wasn't one of those camel spiders. It wasn't a Solaris. It was just big. And it wasn't like the size of a dinner plate, but she said, this is what we're dealing with. Right? So anyway, Ben sends me this guy. He says, dude, you need to get in touch with this guy. And he's working in Ecuador. And then through him, I met this other guy from Chile. And they have talked to me at length about these arachnids that they found. There was also a lady in Kentucky who was in a cave and got a really, really nasty bite from a spider that was like crystalline clear, like you could see through it. Yeah. Not white, but like translucent, And
this was in a cave?
In a cave in Kentucky, yeah. And so she gave me that story about 2 years ago. I think I've already told that one on the show. Yeah. But anyway, so you get these weird stories, and so I've covered some of these. And, of course, I think when Ryan Edwards was on the show, we talked about the spider from the Congo. I believe it was Ryan. I think Ryan was on the show, but we talked about it. He's going to be on the show again, and pretty soon. So when he comes on, we'll get to that. But let me call somebody up real quick and get him on here, and we can start talking about some other stuff. Yes, Linda, I agree. Black Widow and brown recluse, 2 of the most poisonous spiders. Folks, always remember, though, there's more than just the brown recluse. There's also a golden recluse and a southwestern recluse, and unfortunately, we have them all here. Nasty little bastards. And you know, interesting thing about the brown recluse, it's almost like a throwback species because they only have 6 eyes. They don't have 3 eyes. I mean, 3 eyes, 8 eyes. It's weird. And they're all part of the fiddleback family, which is typically poisonous, brown recluse and the black widow. So be very cognizant of that. Be very careful. Funny because Tennessee, at one time, Tennessee and Kentucky, Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Texas were the only places to find the brown recluse. So the joke was that Davy Crockett brought him here. I'm not joking. Like, you know,
I believe it.
it's the old Texas tall tale. Davy Crockett.
He was always up to no good.
How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh, man.
Doing good, man.
Doing good. So Barton, I don't know if you were listening to the show, but you know, we
Yeah,
talked,
I've been taking a break.
Yeah, taking a break. Tell folks what you're doing, what you got going on.
A little bit of everything, bro. Spending all my time working. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
so
got
how's the show
videos
going?
coming up. And I've been shooting video and editing all day, and not fun.
It's not fun. It's a lot of work, ain't it? It's a lot of work, man.
A lot of work, brother.
So, folks, this is Barton Lin. Obviously, everybody knows who Barton is.
Doesn't need an introduction.
Doesn't need an introduction. The guy's a legend. But
The man,
Barton,
the myth, the legend.
Thanks, man. Hello to everybody. Hello to
Yeah.
all the paratroopers.
what are you guys calling yourselves? The Inhumanoids?
No, I don't really have a name for our little group there, brother, yet. Maybe
Little
somebody
group,
can
dude.
come up with something for me,
Bartonites.
you know.
The Bartonites. The Nunlians. We got to come up with something cool. I think the Inhumanoid sounds good. I mean, but then again, you're talking about your audience. It wouldn't really be Inhumanoid.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
So I've been
No one
watching
too.
you, and we've been talking about having me come on the show and you come back on the show. But you and I are going to do some recording because we got some stuff to talk about. We love Meat on the Bone, and I listened to those the other day, the ones that we did together, and there was so much material on there. And I thought, dude, we got to get it back. So we've been talking about that. You're very busy. I'm very busy. We have a lot going on with our channels. But tell the folks what you got going on your show, because you've had a lot of great guests lately.
Yeah, so I've been fortunate here lately. The good Lord sent people to me that are really respectable and well-grounded and believable, you know, reputable people, and they got all kinds of stories from demons to UFOs to Bigfoot to Dogman and everything in between. And you know, of course, I have to call them up and make sure they're not trying to pull one over on me or something before I put them on the show. But yeah, I've been doing that. I've been working. I got a day job, and then I come home and work, and then I get up and work, come home and work and talk to witnesses, and weekend comes and I work. So yeah.
Yeah. Some of these people that have been really mean and nasty lately, and we've talked about that, you and I, because they don't work. I mean, they have the leg up on us because we're constantly working and they're not. All they just got to sit there and plot and scheme while we go to work.
Right. Well, they need to get a job or go pound sand or something. I don't care. You know, as long as they leave me alone, I'll leave them alone.
Yeah.
Quite simple.
Someone's got to pay the tax dollars to feed them.
Yeah. We got to work so the country, keep the country going, and then they can sit there and complain and troll and talk crap. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's a shame too, because they want to sit there and pick apart everything we do, but then, you know, they're not doing anything better. You know, I mean, good grief, dude. Some of this stuff is just absolutely childish. You know, I tell you this, Barton, you have been you've been like with the books. Everybody knows you've written a lot of books, but you have been really, really pounding away on this YouTube thing. And we talked extensively about you doing this. This is what I kept telling you to do. I've been telling you this for a while.
Well, you know, I never ever thought that I would be doing this, brother. You know, I'm not really a public public, I never wanted to be a public figure and in everyone's attention and all that stuff. But here I am, and it's been fun. Me and Letitia are having a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work, and it just never stops. We at the beginning we didn't get that many emails, just a few a month, but now it's tripled, and it takes all my time. I'm either on this phone or on the PC editing videos, and so a lot of good stuff coming up, and I'm going to start reading my own books, and because my audiobooks are just released at Amazon.com, audio format, and you get them in audio format as well, but everybody's complaining that it's not me reading the books. I'm like, oh my goodness.
So what do you think? Are you going to do that?
Well, I'm going to start doing it. Yeah, it's going to be slow, but it took a computer over 22 hours to read the Inhumanoids, right? So how long do you think it's going to take me? A long time. But I'm going to start with Mysterious Kentucky and do it in small increments at a time, so it's not too much of an overload. Because, like I said, I never thought I'd be up here on YouTube doing this, but it's allowed me to meet a lot of wonderful people, and it's enriched my life, and mine and Letitia's life. We have a lot of friends, and whereas before we didn't have many friends, other than you and a few others. But yeah, it's worth it. Don't get much money. Don't make much money, but I'm not trying to make money. Everyone wants to be successful, and the people who complain about other people making money off this, they should tell me if they want to do that to me. Then tell me how they can live with no money. Everyone needs money to live, pay bills, buy food, gas. Unfortunately, but that's the way the world is. So the people who complain about it, they really need to stop and look at how much money they need to survive. So sure, it'd be great to make a living at this, but it doesn't look like it's going to be feasible for me anyway. But I'm still going to do it because I'm up there in front of that damn camera, just telling the truth. That's all I want to do. I just want people to know what these things are, these Inhumanoids are, and what their purpose is. Everybody thinks that we'll never know the answers to these mysteries. Yes, we already know. You just have to ask the right questions and be prepared to have an open mind enough to accept the answer, right? Because everything is, and yourself, brother, the truth is the most unpopular thing that you can offer someone, right? They'll spit out the truth 10 times just to eat the lie that someone else offers. So
unfortunately, that's true. And, we've been through that a lot as in the last few months with this whole, you try to tell people the truth and they don't, and I don't know what the answers are with that. That's hard. It's human nature. I know you and I have talked extensively about your future in this. And I kept telling you need to get on there and do the live stream. I just thought, man, it would be to have you, there every week to do this. I think it's something you should have been doing a long time ago. And unfortunately, like with the books, like you should be getting a lot more. And I've said this before. We've talked about this in private. We need to republish those with different artwork. I think it would be like something for like the Humanoids. Right. I think that the old cover was. I found one of. Did I tell you that? I found one of your books, the old ones.
Really?
I found one. Yeah, I bought a guy's collection, and he had it in there. And I was honest. I told him. I said, that book's worth a lot. And I told him what happened. He goes, I don't care. He's like, I just got to get rid of it. I got to make room because I think his girlfriend was on his ass. And so I bought it, along with it. But it's in mint condition, dude. It is a nice.
Oh wow,
book.
like Ken's was.
Yeah, Ken. And remember, Ken was supposed
was
to
in like quote unquote unread condition. You know what I mean?
Barton was like teasing him.
Printed
And Lyle was like, I'll have you know I read it. Just so you know. Ken was like,
said
well, I
that book
wanted
to
to
me.
save
I'm
it
like,
in mint condition,
I don't have a copy in this good a condition. I only have one copy of my books, and they're Letitia's. They're not even mine. So, yeah, it was nice to see such an old book in such great shape. Everyone thinks
Well,
that that's a new book, brother. You know, everyone's talking about it, but it's really 15 years old, and it's still the Inhumanoids in Mysterious Kentucky still seem to be making some kind of difference, you know, in the way people view these things. And it's taken a long time, but you know, I'm glad that I'm still around to see it happen. And you and I, you know, we banded together a couple years ago, and we're trying to break the narratives that these people are feeding to everyone, and
yeah.
to replace that with the truth. And I think we're rolling right along, man.
We're making progress. We're making progress, but unification, you know, and, you know, I said this on Blondes and Booze last night. Matt Imps, he was the only one that got what that shirt meant, you know, and he said that when I put that on Facebook, everybody was trying to guess what it was, and Matt hit the nail on the head. He says it means unification. And, hey, there's Michigan Rob and Blondes and Booze right there. But yeah, they
Hello, Rob and ladies and everyone else in the chat. All my good friends, see a lot of my good friends in the chat. Thank you guys for coming over here supporting Josh. He's
I
like
tell
my
you what,
brother.
though, Barton, Ken still owes us a crow. He was supposed to eat a crow.
Right? He was supposed to eat a crow on one of your live streams.
Yeah, he said, he goes, if you guys could sell that book for $1,000, I'd eat a crow. And I said, okay, you're going to eat crow. And so and then we have our own thread, folks, and we call it the Cryptid Highwayman. It's funny. But I posted on there, and everybody was laughing, but I was like, Ken goes, what is that, a grackle? And I was like, that's your crow. You need to eat that crow because you said if we could sell, and then not only did we sell one, we sold two. And my,
Right, I believe Brother Ken said if it brings over $200, he would eat crow on your show.
And he would sign his name in blood. Remember he said that?
Right.
Yeah.
He's still got a little bit of things to do to keep his end of the bargain there, I think.
Exactly.
But I was happy. I was happy he got all that money, you know, to help him with his Thunderbird expedition. And, you know, I'm happy to help my friend.
Yeah, we gave the money to him for that, and then you know the other book though was my book, and obviously mine had been read. You saw both copies and you signed them,
right?
And what we did was we sent the first one. Ken sent it to me or to you, then to me, and I was the last one to sign it, and then we shipped it off to the people that won it. It was like an auction we did, and then we did both of them. And so you saw mine. Mine was read. I read it. I'm not like Ken.
Oh yeah,
okay?
Yeah. I can tell yours have been read several times. You know,
I use it as a reference.
That's the greatest accomplishment an author can achieve is for someone to want to read his book twice, and that's I'm really honored that I've heard from so many people that say, "Man, I read this book at least once a year," and I'm like, "Wow." That's, you know, that's like your favorite movie or something, but it really humbles me to know that people think so highly of that work. It definitely was a labor of love.
And so I decided too, because on the Bigfoot book, I had Nick Redfern, which thank goodness I did, because now he's in England. We don't know if he's coming back or what he's going to do. But we'll pray for him and his dad, very ill.
Right.
And
prayers for him and his dad for sure. And Phil Stearns and Martin Groves. He needs a few prayers too, if y'all can spare some.
Oh, yeah. Martin, good guy.
Yeah.
But we were talking last night about the conference and how much fun it was. And you're going to be back at this one, right? This year in New Braunfels in September?
September. I don't know, brother. It means I got to ride 8 hours or fly 2 hours. I don't know, which is weighing them here.
Hey, you flew last time and you came out in one piece. I think you'll make it. I don't know.
Right, I did. I did do that. So yeah, I'll try to be there for sure. And I don't have anything scheduled really for just coming up here except for the Alabama conference in June.
See, I didn't even ask you. I just assumed you would go. I was like, Barton will be there. I was telling everybody Barton's going to be there. I didn't even ask you. I thought we're best friends, dude. So I mean, we talk all the time.
Well, you know, I'm here to support you, brother, and all the PRT family. I'm sorry you called me on this Facebook deal, so I can't see the chat or see what anybody's saying. But you know, hello to the PRT family. I consider you guys my extended family as well. So it's good to see you guys tonight. And it's been too long since I've been on this show with you, brother.
Yeah, well, rest assured, there's a lot of negative comments. I'll read one of them right now. AJ, that guy says, this dude again? I can't stand him. His books are horrible. This other lady says, I just recently cleaned out my closet, found one of his books, and burned it. Woo. You got some
Well, she
rough
should have
stuff
at least,
people are
yeah,
talking.
she could have put it to better use at the bottom of her bird cage. You know,
You got some rough, some bad people there talking a lot of trash. Jeez. They
Well,
said
it's
his show
funny,
was
you
a
know, I
total
don't-
dumpster fire.
I don't read the reviews to my
Yeah.
books, you know, and
Someone says it
Because I
right
know
here.
that-
Barton the Tunley, the official sponsor of Shasta.
Shasta.
right? Well, at least I'm good for something.
And we got this one guy calling you Burton Nutley for some reason.
That's old Jody.
Right, I
Jody
don't
always called it Burton Nothing. That's Jody. Oh,
I
Jody
don't know what I
Cook.
should say about it. Poor Jody.
But
Yeah,
Jody's
I like
vindicated.
Jody.
He definitely vindicated about one of those dudes, man. I got to say, man, he was right. He was spot on.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well,
Mhm.
you know, it's everyone's right every once in a while, and I've been wrong many times, and hopefully I'll live long enough to be wrong many more times. But you know, everything is as it is, and I guess it's as it should be, brother. I'm not here to derail anybody or sink anybody's boat over. I'm just here to do my thing and tell everybody the truth. And, you know, as long as they leave me alone and leave me out of the drama, I'm fine. You go on about your business. I know it's hard to do. And because, you know, sooner or later you're going to get drama. It's just being out here in the public it's what it means. But
It just seems like every week somebody's, you know, doing something, saying something. You can't even post a picture. They got to say something. It's so ridiculous, dude. It just gets old.
yeah,
Somebody
it does,
says,
bro.
Barton, buy a case of delicious, refreshing Shasta on me.
I'll do that. You know I will.
And Larry Fisher, brother Larry, donated here. Thank you, Larry, for that donation. Thank you, Liberty. Liberty was at the conference. Liberty, I hope that you make it to the next one,
Yeah.
too. So
Right.
the thing about the next conference, though, we're going to have to try to somehow convince Ken, because I was talking with Lyle and Ryan Edwards and Jason McLean. We were all sitting there with Rod Nichols. I just met Rod that day. He was at the Lodestar Paracon. And the lovely ladies from Blondes and Booze were there. They were talking with my wife and everything. And I told Lyle, I said, we're going to have to break the news to Ken. He's going to have to do it again. Because Ken told me after last, he's like, it's too much, it's too stressful, you know, whatever. And I said, he gets too worked up. Like on Sunday, he was so upset that because you said you had gotten everybody drunk. He thought nobody was
That's
coming
funny.
in.
There were only
You know.
like 100 people in my hotel room, man. It wasn't everybody.
And I told him it wasn't even you. You didn't even provide the booze. It wasn't. You didn't even.
No.
It wasn't. Yeah. You
No.
just were like, hey, let's hang out. And
Yeah,
you know,
that's
and
it.
everybody.
everywhere I
did.
go, it's like, and the first conference was like that too. It's just, you know, everywhere I go, people just want to hang out with me, and I always want to be open and available to anyone that wants to talk to me. You know, someone who might want to ask me a question or tell me a story. So, you know, that last night was the best night. No one even went to bed.
Mhm.
No one got any sleep at all.
That's crazy.
So
was
yeah,
so-
we had a great time, and I'm sure we'll have another great time at your next conference. And
Mhm.
the first two have been just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And see, Krista, I guess that's Krista's profile. It says Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast. Brandy and I were back on Sunday on time. Yeah, you were on time.
Right?
Because other people, I think you guys came in a little late. I think that's what it was. And
No,
so-
we were on time.
Oh, okay.
Letitia and I were on time. Yeah, we didn't get drunk or
Who knows? It
anything.
was late. Then.
Yeah, you didn't. Tony
I don't even know.
wasn't. You didn't come in until noon or 1.
There was a conference on Sunday. I thought it ended
And I
Saturday.
was sitting there talking to Jesus Payan, and Jesus, when we first got there, Jesus, he was a little bit late again. I think on the second day, and he was like, "Where's everybody at?" And I was like, and he goes, "Oh," and he goes, "Ken looks like he's a little angry." And I was like, "Yeah." And then I told David, I said, "What do you think? You think it's?" And then David's like, "I don't know. We'll see." Weatherly had said that he had never seen a conference do good on Sunday. And so I think him and Chad Lewis, Chad said, hey, he was cool. He'd already made a bunch of money, sold a bunch of merchandise. It did really well. And Lyle said, we'll see. And then when everybody started coming in, then it was like, I don't remember. Yeah, and then that was it, because I had to go in and I had to MC, and I didn't see a lot of people in there. And then I thought, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I overshot. No, it packed.
No, it
The
was
house
all good,
packed.
brother. All 3 days were just outstanding and outstanding speakers. And you're the only one. I have to say this: you're the only one that could bring together such a phenomenal lineup of world-renowned speakers. It was great. The only thing about the conferences is being tied to that table and having to sell stuff. I hate that, and you can't really leave the table.
Yeah.
To listen to people what they're saying and stuff like that. So that's the only downside to the conferences for me. And I can't stand to sit still hardly for 20 or 30 minutes at a time, and then I'm ready to get up and do something. But other than that, it was great, man. The after parties were legendary. People, they're still talking about them. I've had a couple people say the after party changed my life, which is great, right?
Straight up. Because
Nothing
we
negative
had a
about
little
that.
after party after the first one, but it wasn't nothing. It wasn't like the second
It
one.
wasn't a planned one.
I mean, there was
Right.
this one was like the Saturday night. It was the Friday night, the Saturday night, the Sunday night, all 3 nights. Friday I was exhausted. I just went straight to bed.
All 3 nights.
I don't even know what happened.
Yeah, I think
Saturday,
I
was there for a little while.
I think I got 2 hours sleep Friday, an hour Saturday, and no sleep at all Sunday night. So, yeah, that's how great it was. Nobody wanted to leave, just like the first conference. Nobody wanted to leave it. They wanted it to last forever.
Yeah.
And
then there were
we did a
rumors
great thing.
about stuff, and that wasn't even true. There's things that these derelicts were saying. It's like the conference was great. The after party, everything was great. It was clean. It wasn't a bunch of it wasn't nothing bad. And then people were talking all this crap and saying crazy stuff, and that's not what happened at all.
No.
I mean, everybody was there. Ron Moorhead was there. I mean, come on, dude. It wasn't, these people were like, oh, there was a satanic orgy going on. Like, what are you talking about, dude? There were so
I
many
must have missed
people.
that one.
There were so many people that messaged me, like Ron Murphy, good guy.
I think that might have been Ken's hotel room, not mine.
Ken. And
only thing I
everybody
can
was
think
telling
of.
me, that they were willing to just say whatever to tell the truth, because there were people that were lying. And I was like, these people, they're just jealous, they're angry. It's unbelievable, the stories and the thing. And one of those guys trying to say that I was mad at him because he didn't come to my conference. I'm like, dude, believe me, there were so many people there. And so many big names in this field. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
You weren't missed.
Yeah, he was not missed. Okay, and I'm like, dude. And he got on his show and said that's why I was mad. I was like, there's so many reasons why. I was like, dude, that is not one of them. Believe me, we had a great lineup, and it's going to be great again. One of the things you're doing,
it's like the best ever. I see these other conferences, and I might recognize 1 or 2 names, and it's usually Lau or Ken.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never even heard of these other people. I mean, what have they done?
Yeah.
Have they written books, or they just, they just get up there and talk about something? I don't know. But your conferences was, everyone was instantly recognizable, right?
Yeah.
So
Miguel, thank you for that donation. Solovino, thank you for that donation. Yeah. Everybody that we picked and we chose for that, and we chose them for a reason. And we had a little different lineup than the first year. There were more people, and there was a lot of big name people that were there at the second one. And I liked both conferences. I can't tell you which one I liked more. I think they were both wonderful. I think we had a great time, and I think this third one's just going to be just as good.
And we're
No doubt
soon to
about
be near water parks multiple times.
Yeah, we're going to be right down the street from Schlitterbahns, and once again, but I can't wait until it happens again. But after that, though, I really, I'm not doing it. I just think 3 is enough. We've done it. And
I think convincing Ken to do a 4th one would be impossible.
we don't even know if we can get him to the 3rd one.
Yeah,
we're going to see what happens. Cross our fingers if we can help, because Ken is really the one that
He's the backbone behind
Well, he
all.
put it together for
Yeah.
me. Like, he was the one, because I'm way too busy. And so I don't even know, so I have to pick a time and figure out exactly when. We just know at that time we're going to try and do it. And I'm pretty sure that it being in New Braunfels helps, because when we were driving back from this one, I told him, we were driving back from the first one. I said, if we do it again next year, we're going to do it in Texas. And so we chose Fort Worth because it was further north, whatever, and easier, And then this one, we were talking the last night, and he said, if we do it again, he goes, I don't know, maybe we'll do it, and we got to do it closer to me. That's the same thing. I don't want to do it way far off somewhere. It's got to be close by, and in the area that we're going to be at. And I want to say this is important. That area is loaded with stories. And now, Barton, you've driven around in that area with me, out in the woods in that area, and tell the folks what you saw, because you were surprised at how heavily wooded and thick the woods
Oh
are.
my goodness. Texas is so big. You just go in those woods for hours and hours and hours, and nothing but woods and creeks and just spooky places, especially at night,
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I have no doubt that things are happening in that area.
Yeah. And we got a lot of reports, and if you come back, definitely we got to go out to the Devil's Backbone, and I got to show you some more of the spot. I took you to a lot of different places, but I got to show you some more places, and get a feel for it. And this time we'll hook up with Weatherly. Yeah, and we'll get
I
him to
love
come out
Texas,
there with us.
brother. I love Texas. I just wish it wasn't so damn far away.
Yeah.
And the
Too bad it's not right next door.
That's true. But the thing too about doing it in Fort Worth was that it doesn't really show Texas's beauty. It was kind of just dry and
that area, White
nasty
Settlement,
looking.
is not pretty at all.
Yeah,
That
so
doesn't
doing it
show
in
Texas like
New
it is.
Braunfels is you see all the green and you see how beautiful everything is around there.
Well, Bettina was surprised at the contrast between where the conference was and then where we live. And she said this is a lot more woods and everything over here. I told her, I was like, oh yeah, this doesn't look anything like that area. That area is flat. It's not very pretty.
It was completely flat.
Well, it just shows how big Texas is. Like, just in a singular drive to one town to another, you'll see like different environments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was really amazed at how big Texas was. Of course, you can look at a map and see how big it is, but to drive
You
down
really
there through
don't
that,
understand it. Yeah.
yeah, it just takes forever. Like we went to the Jefferson, and it took 5 hours.
Yeah, it was
Just to
terrible.
get
That
from
was
one
Craig's
part of
conference,
Texas to-
man.
Yeah, just to get from one part of Texas to the next is 5 hours. You could drive 5 hours probably
Oh, there's Bettina.
in any
right there.
direction and be out of the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're at, of course.
Bigfoot
But yeah,
Rob says he
much
likes
bigger.
Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's. Did I take you and Letitia to Buc-ee's? Did y'all go to Buc-ee's with us, Martin?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you would have remembered Buc-ee's.
Oh yeah, Bettina loved it.
Even 10
Yeah.
days. Y'all were here for 10 days, and even in that time, we didn't get to do everything. Of course, I'd have to work all the time, but there was
Yeah.
so much more we could have done,
Wait a minute. You're telling me you beat up a poor Mexican man, Barton, but you didn't go to Buc-ee's? You had the true Texas experience.
What are you talking about?
Didn't he?
No, I didn't beat up anyone.
That was me, stupid.
That was
No, I thought you guys drove to a site and he was there.
Yeah, I smacked a guy.
Oh.
Yes, I had to. A guy. Now that you
Right.
brought it up, I can't believe you brought that up. But anyway, yes, I had a fight. I got into a fight for the Barton.
Oh, it was not. There was no fight at all. It was,
was a
one loud
smack.
slap.
Yeah.
It sounded like an M80 firecracker going off, and that was the end of that.
They were stealing. I mean, they
Yes,
were
they were.
literally. We caught them stealing, and they almost ran Barton over. And so the one that got left behind, I started asking him, and he started talking trash. So I smacked him. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
Don't be
exactly what
stealing.
happened.
Exactly what happened. And then he tried to throw a karate kick and missed, and then Anthony connected. So
Right?
what
It
happens?
was all over.
Don't steal.
And they were
They're
stealing.
loading up
I
a
mean,
van.
they're stealing like trash.
Yeah, it was like
it's
crap wood or
crazy.
whatever.
Like
But-
scrap wood and stuff like that. I mean, why would you steal
Guarantee
something
those
like
are the
that?
same guys though that had ripped us off before, because that was the same description. We just happened to catch them that time.
Yeah.
They came back to take
Oh,
the
well, it's-
scrap after they'd already stole the pallet.
Right.
Oh, well.
It was definitely a fun trip, man. And when we got to ride around that one night and go out on the town for a couple hours and
We get a little
make the
rowdy.
old
me and you,
ladies mad
Martin.
at us. Yeah, they don't want us to be together for too long. We'll start some trouble, surely.
We yelled at a cop.
Right?
Our
Well, we
wives
were just
like,
having
"Shut
fun,
up."
We were just having fun. We weren't looking for trouble or anything like that. We were just having fun. We had fun, and I'm sure we'll have some fun again.
I mean, Larry, thank you for that donation, man. Appreciate it. What do you say? Wolf, sorry, not sorry. What are you talking about?
Yeah, brother Larry.
For
That's
being up
Larry
for
Joe.
slapping.
He's saying tell Barton to ride it with the roof from Marlin to New Braunfels. Pamela is ready.
All right.
I think he's talking about like for the conference.
Yeah.
He wants Barton and
Yeah.
Letitia to ride with them, like to meet them in Marlin.
Yeah. Yeah, and
All
definitely
right.
get
So I'm
Martin
back in here, and I'm
Daryl,
I can
too.
actually see the chat now,
Oh, cool.
which is cool. Yeah. Usually
Yeah, so
I
if
can't
you guys
see
have
it.
any questions for Barton, he might be able to
If you guys
answer.
have any questions to ask Barton, whatever.
Don't
I
ask.
don't.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to do this.
So
We're joking.
Go ahead, Barton.
Danita asked if I have a big spider story. No, I saw a spider one time as big as my hand. It was a wolf spider,
You told me
and
that.
yeah. But I don't have any big scary spider stories. Luckily I've never been bitten by a poisonous spider. My brother, he got bit by a black widow, and he lived through it all right. And they gave him some medicine. He was okay. But I just got lucky. And recluse spiders, they do dry bite sometimes. So I just interviewed a guy this past live stream that got into his sleeping bag with one, and it bit him multiple times, but they were all dry bites. So
Wow.
got lucky
He's
there. But
fortunate.
the brown recluse, they can kill you if they bite you in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
There's would probably be no saving you if they bit you in the temple or the throat or something like that.
It's
So
a
your point is
necrotoxin.
yeah, right. So those are bad, and we have them up here, and try to avoid those dudes.
Oh no, Larry, I wasn't apologizing about slapping the thief. I was just saying sorry if I offended anybody by my whatever. But I had to do something. These people almost ran Barton over and almost ran me over too.
Oh yeah, he didn't even turn his
was
headlights on. He
unrepentant.
just floored it right at me, and I had to jump out of the way. And he just goes rushing down the streets without even turning his headlight on. It was like crazy. And unfortunately for his compadre there, he didn't leave unscathed. I'm sure he had your palm print on his face for a week.
And I punched their glass. I cracked the glass of their windshield.
He probably got
didn't,
Anthony's footprint on his sternum for another week. So yeah,
Stupid asshole. He was an ass, dude. So Brianna says, I have so many personal stories and grandmother answers. Brianna, what you can do is you can send them to, no, that's the Patreon. What is it? Josh Turner at prtpodcast.com, or if we're friends on Facebook, you can send it to me, or through Instagram, Josh Turner 940. A lot of people do that too. Barton, how do people get a hold of you? Tell them how they can reach you.
well, they can reach me at inhumanoidencounters@gmail.com. Yeah, and that's about the easiest way to do it, I'd guess, unless you're my friend or brother like you have my phone number. But yeah, inhumanoidencounters@gmail.com.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. I'm gonna do something here since you're on the show. I want to tell a story, and I would like to get your input on it. So I think that would be a cool thing to do. We were just talking about that area near the Devil's Backbone. Now, if you go near south of that, which is near the Backbone, but it's about 10 miles into the woods right there. And I'll tell you this, it's not far from where one of the Hernandez family members had an encounter with something that was in a garage. And get this thing, for some reason, it got trapped in the garage, and it tore up a bunch of paint, big old paint cans. And I thought about you, Barton, the other day. I was thinking about that story. And I know you're a painter, but there was another story that wasn't too far away from that, and it was actually a guy that Ken interviewed for me when we were trying to get all that work done, and it was invaluable, the work that you and Sibylla and Ken and everybody helped out doing what y'all did. I appreciate it.
We appreciate it. It was an honor to do it, man.
Yeah, and so the next book, you're gonna have to. I'd say MK Ultra may have to be someone who's whatever, but I wanted you to do the foreword for the next cryptid book I write, and I think that's going to be down the road. But definitely, want you to put it on there.
Right, I'd be happy to, brother, because that first one, I liked your Dogman book, but the Bigfoot book was just like something. It was over the top,
Yeah, that's what Nick,
I'm
Nick
never-
Redfern
yeah.
said. That it was. This is what he told me. He said it was the best Bigfoot book he'd ever written, ever read.
Right.
And he
Same
said
here.
it was very well written. What he said.
Yeah, it's the most powerful Bigfoot book that I've ever read, and I got the opportunity to interview a couple of those witnesses for you, and they were
Yeah.
outstanding people, and unfortunately, one of them passed away while we were interviewing her, and
Claudia
that was
Ackler.
kind of right. That was kind of strange, and but yeah, that's the most powerful Bigfoot book that I've ever read personally,
Yes.
and you did a great job on that. Everybody needs to read that book. If you have any questions at all about what these creatures are, read Josh's book, and at the end you'll know. And if you don't, it's your own fault.
Yeah, and so there was an encounter that someone had, and they were literally up on a roof. There were two guys, and they were roofing, and it was in the summertime, and it wasn't dark yet. It was like an hour before it gets dark, before it starts to hit twilight. So they were trying to bang out this roof, and this is something Larry Fisher, our brother Larry, take heed, because these guys were up on a roof and they looked down, and there's this house that's surrounded by woods. And in fact, the guy Marvin that gave me the story, it's kind of like the way it's cut out, like only the front was not surrounded by woods, and there was about a foot around the house, completely just woods around it. And the family was planning on clearing it out, and it was a new build, and they were putting the roof on, and they see this thing sitting there looking at them, sitting like a dog on the edge of I think they said it was the western end of the property, which is funny because that's where the west from there is where you get all the Dogman reports. The east is the Bigfoot. And it was sitting there like a dog looking at them. And one of the guys, he says, "Do you see that?" And Marvin says, "Yeah, I see that." And it's Marvin's crew. It's his guys. And he's like, and I'm looking, and I see this dog-like creature. He goes, and then it just turns into the woods and walks off. But he said, dude, the weird thing is the way it turned, the way it got up, the way it lifted its paws. It shouldn't have moved like that. He said it almost looked human, the way it turned. And they were all like, ugh, what in the heck? So they were kind of freaked out, And there were these two guys in particular. As soon as they saw that, they were like, you know what? We're done. We're going to leave. And these guys were, Mexicans from Mexico, they were like, we're out of here. And they started calling it by some sort of weird name, and this guy didn't know what they were talking about. When he told me what they called it, I immediately knew what that was. Cadejo. Like it's like a devil, like a dog, And so these guys were like, we're going to leave. So they started to climb down the ladder. Crazy thing is, right when one of them was halfway down, this thing goes around the side of the house, and it comes from the other side, and it starts running toward the ladder. So then he runs back up the ladder, he turns, and his brother, who was the other guy that was going to leave, was cognizant enough to grab the ladder and pull it. This thing stood up on its hind legs, and then they could see that these paws were not paws at all. They were like weird-looking claw hands, and it grabs the ladder and starts pulling it, and then it yanks it completely away from them. And they're like, well, obviously... Marvin told me, he says, dude, it was no fear of this thing climbing the ladder. He's like, that did not come into our minds that this thing was going to climb the ladder. And he said, this was literally a three-story, it was a huge house. And he said, dude, there was no danger of us, seeing that ladder would not hold this thing up. He said, this thing must have been 600 or 700 pounds. And he said, I did not realize how big it was when I saw it sitting on the edge of the woods. He said this thing was huge. There was no way it was going to go up that ladder. So I took the ladder and it chunked it. And then it just sat there and looked up at him. And then after a little while, it began to walk around the house and around the house. Now, this happened probably about a good 10 years before Joe's encounter, which happened, So you're talking like, I guess maybe 20, 25 years ago. But this was like a scary thing, and this guy just got in touch with him because of the guy that Ken had talked to. And he tells me this story, and he says, dude, we were trapped on that roof. He said, and it was like 9 o'clock. He's like, then it was 10 o'clock. And he's like, and his cell phones weren't like a big thing at that time where you just call people, hey. And then besides that, there's no reception out there anyway because it's not far from where Joe was at. And there really is no good reception. It's out in the middle of the woods. and it's not far
Yeah.
from the backbone. And he says, we were out there, he goes, and finally, he said, finally, we see a headlights coming down the driveway, and this thing just sat there. It didn't make any noise. It didn't bark or growl. It didn't do anything. And he said it just looked like a damn werewolf. And so he goes, I can't tell you anything more than that. It was just brownish black, werewolf-looking creature that had arms instead of legs in the front, but it could move and kind of, run around like a wolf. But he goes, if you took like the way he described it too, is like you took a gorilla and bred it with a wolf, that's what it would look like. And it had a tail, and he said, and it had pointy ears, and he said, and it just ran around and around that house, and there was 4 guys all together. It just kept them pinned up there, and 2 of them, he's like, we just, we started thinking about making a break for it once it went and sat on the edge of the woods. He said, but it was determined to like do something to us. And he's like, and luckily this thing was too big, and the ladder wasn't going to hold it up. And he said, man, we just sat there. And we just sat there. And he goes, and we're just on the roof. He goes, we thought about trying to do something like maybe, throw a hammer at it or something. And he goes, but then I thought maybe we'd just get really mad. And we just kept debating about how are we going to get off this roof. But luckily, one of the owners was like driving up the whatever. And when it saw the headlights, it just took off into the woods. So this guy, he pulls up and he's talking away, and this other guy gets out of the truck, which turns out to be his helper or whatever. And they're like, hey guys, and then he's like, hey, the roof, the ladder, can you give us the ladder? We've been up on this roof for hours. And he's like, oh, okay. So he puts the ladder up, and they're like, dude, look out. There's something in these woods over there. So he looks, and he goes and grabs his flashlight, and he goes and he looks. And he's like, what is it? What do y'all, they're climbing down the ladder, and they're terrified. And he sees 2 of them just take off running, get in their truck, and they're gone. They don't say anything, those 2 brothers. And then Marvin and his helper come down, and they tell this guy, and they're like, dude, this giant blackish brown werewolf-looking creature has been walking around and around. And this guy was in utter shock and disbelief, and he was like, oh, wow, really? And so he kept looking and looking. Now, here's what happened. Everybody just kind of got in their truck and went their separate ways. They didn't sit there and talk about it because they were uneasy because, So he tells the guy, look, I'll finish it. I got to hire a new crew. These guys, obviously, they're not going to come back. He's like, but I'll finish the job. So he hired some more guys, and he went out there and he sat in his truck and he watched. And he had these guys go up on the roof to finish it. Wasn't a whole lot left to do. And then once they finished it, he says a couple of months go by. He's like, and I'm going into this check cashing place, and I see the owner's son there. And the owner's son says, hey, what's going on, Marvin? And they start talking. And he tells him, he says, whatever came of that bill, did y'all finish? He goes, yeah. He says, we did, but y'all weren't the only crew that got ran off by this, whatever it was. And he said, there was a lot of other stuff that went on. And they were still building. It wasn't done. There were still a few things to do. But he said, dude, he goes, there have been multiple people now who've seen this thing. He said, so me and my cousin decided we were going to go out there and we're going to sit and we're going to watch and see if we see this creature. And he says, did you ever see it? And he says, no, I didn't, but because I fell asleep, but my cousin did. And my cousin was yelling, trying to wake me up. And this thing had walked on 2 legs behind the house and went into the woods. Now, this was a house they built just to flip. They weren't trying to move into it. And so they built this house, and then they sold it. And he's like, they don't, the guy, Marvin, doesn't know whatever happened to that house. He said he drove by there. You can't really see it from the road, but because it's real heavily wooded. But he goes, I drove by there with my wife. He goes, and I told her, I said, yeah, that's the place where it happened. And so she was working at this like loan company or whatever. And this guy comes in there and starts talking away to this one of the ladies or whatever. And she was listening to the conversation. She was like on the phone or whatever. And she gets off the phone and she's like, she starts talking to this guy. And he says, yeah, he goes, I just bought this property over here, and whatever. And so he goes, I want to take out a loan or whatever against the whatever. And he literally starts telling these 2 ladies there a story about a werewolf-looking creature that ran the people off from their house. And his wife thinks that that's the same property At the time, she knows it is now, but she wasn't for sure. So she went back and she says, "What would the address be exactly?" And he's like, "I think it's whatever." So they and she's like, "That's it. That's the property. Literally, that's the property." Because he's like, "I don't know whatever happened to the owners." He's like, "I just know they don't live there anymore." And his wife said, "Yeah." And so this guy that bought the property, I guess he got a loan for it or something. And then I don't know, maybe he resold it. I don't know what happened to it. But I told him, I said, that doesn't surprise me a bit, considering where it's at. And that it's not far from a site where multiple encounters have happened. And so my question, I guess, to you and to the audience is, what would you do if you were trapped up on a roof? Now, thank God somebody showed up. But at some point, you have to think about, what if somebody's not going to show up and you're there all night? I mean, by daybreak, you're going to have to do something. You can't just stay up there indefinitely. And it was a Friday. Imagine if they wouldn't have come back because the owner just wanted to take a look at the progress. Imagine if they wouldn't have come that night because they weren't going to. And then what if nobody comes back the next day? I mean, you're just there. Would you stay there all weekend, or would you eventually try to make a break for it? I mean,
I would definitely come down off that roof.
Yeah.
And, I know the one name under heaven that'll make these creatures run and shrink away from it. So I definitely wouldn't have been stuck up there, brother. And if I had my sword with me, which I wouldn't have roof in a house, but if I had my weapon with me, I would have killed it. That's what I would have done.
What would you do, though? Because these guys, one of them had a gun, but it was in the truck.
No.
But you're on the roof. What do? Are you going to use a hammer?
Right? Did they have a nail gun, or they're just hammering?
Yeah, I'm sure they did. He said we had tools. I don't know.
Right. Some roofers use nail guns. Some don't. They do it all by hand. But I would, depending on how high the roof was, I would jump down. It was just a one-story roof. I'd jump down and
the 3 stories.
3 stories.
Oh,
well,
man.
I definitely wouldn't be jumping down off that. So there would be nothing else to do but stay up there till somebody came and rescued you. It'd be bad if you jumped off a 3-story roof and broke your leg or something, and you're not going to be, you're just going to be laying there as food for whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely want to take that chance.
Now, you said something
1 story,
interesting.
no problem.
You said that you would jump down, but you said so you would call out in the name of Christ to get to. But do you think that this thing's trying to eat you? Is it is it a flesh and blood creature we're dealing with, or is it not? I mean,
well, funny thing
even
is,
if it's
brother, no
flesh and
matter
blood,
what
would
it
it work?
is, so that's a hotly debated question, right? But no matter what it is, every time someone rebukes these things in the name of Jesus Christ, they go away. So I've had so many stories like that, and if you said the name of Jesus to a lion, it wouldn't react negatively, right? Or you say it to a bear, it wouldn't recognize that name. But you say it to these humanoids, they all recognize that name and they flee from it. So that right there should tell you all you need to know about what these things really are.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you're a different type of person. I mean, I can see you not taking any crap and going down that roof. But people in the audience, what would you do? Anthony, what would you do?
I don't know, man. I would shake my fist at it and give it a piece of my mind. Tell it to knock it off. Be like,
There
this.
you go. You rough talk it, Anthony. That'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, were they seeing this thing on the ground the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay, so
It would go into the woods and then it would kind of meander back out and look.
I would wait until it came back, and I could see it down there, at the base of the house, and then if I had to use the restroom, I would just aim for it. There you go.
Adam Paulson says call 50. None of them had phones on them, and this was years ago. It was like 25 years ago.
Right.
But
And
you
that's the
gotta
thing,
realize
you get
something.
out in these places, you're really taking your life in your hands, because most people don't realize when you get into places that are really thick and heavily wooded, there is no cell phone service. So you cannot call for help. You can't call anyone. You know, your phone is just an extra weight that's useless at the moment, right? So, and you get out there and doing what you're doing, you get bit by a snake or something, you fall into a hole or whatever. And chances are that unless you're with someone, you're going to be in deep water there. And so, kudos to all the people who actually do what we do and go out there and try to learn something and bring people some knowledge, you know. And of course, I'm just trying to kill it, brother. I've already I already decided and concluded all I needed to know about these things. I'm just trying to put an end to what's going on in LBL, and I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone or even to myself, right? And just trying to put a stop to what's going on there. And but every time you go into a place like that, you're putting your life in your own hands, and not just because of the humanoids. You know, there's a lot of things in the woods that can kill you. 100 different things in those woods that can kill you.
Ticks.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, ticks can kill you, but now they have well, you know, I've had Lyme disease for 15 years now, so not a fun thing. And now they have chiggers that, if they bite you one time, it could kill you.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So,
it's ridiculous.
Terrible, man. Yeah, they're making all this stuff because they don't want people to be able to go into the woods, right? In the end, we're all going to be herded into cities. We're all going to be herded into the cities. We're going to have the beasts of the earth roaming around the woods and in the forest, and no one's. Well, yes, exactly. But when God lets them loose on us, it's going to be a different story. We're all going to be running away from those wooded, forested areas and into the so-called safety of the cities. That's what I believe, anyway.
You know, for me, it's a different ball game because I used to think it was like a bad thing. It was horrible. I saw this creature and it changed everything about the way I did, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Now I know that it was a blessing because I know what's there. I know absolutely 100%. I don't need to be convinced. I don't have to go into the woods to look and convince myself that it's there.
Right.
Like you said, you know, like you already know. I mean, it's like you already know. You've seen these creatures. You know, if anybody reads your books, they'll know. You know, and of course you're, you know, the Spotsville monster. I mean, this is, to us, it's reality. It's not even a question of if or maybe, whatever.
Yeah, it's a fact.
You know, yeah. Me
and
and
people
my
say,
friend
no,
and
it's
his
not a
family,
fact. It's not a
we all
fact
saw
because
it.
it's not. Yeah, it's not proven, so it's not a fact. Well, you know, the thing about facts are facts, no matter who believes them or when they believe them, what time they arrive at the decision to believe them. Facts are still facts, and so we know what the facts are, brother. And most people don't. They're looking for answers, and we know what's there. So, you know, the truth doesn't live or die depending on who believes it or how many believe it. It's the truth, and it's always been the truth, and it'll always be the truth. So no matter who believes it, that's how it is. And you know, we can call them facts and be right, but to everyone else, we're jumping the scientific gun, when in reality, science isn't even close to catching up with these creatures. Not even close. And it might not ever, but the day that science actually catches up with the supernatural, I think both of the terms, which are man-made labels, they'll cease to exist, because science will reach the ultimate pinnacle of its quest for knowledge, right? And we'll know that what we call supernatural is really just a part of the natural world that isn't visible but still there.
Yeah, you know, and doing what we do, and you fielded so many reports, and here's a cool thing about being friends with you and just all these different researchers and these authors and these podcasters and YouTubers, and you and I in particular are very close, but it's crazy. Like, you know, I've gone over a lot of these stories with you before I've talked about them on the show, and you've done the same with me. Like, you've gotten cases, like there's one, I don't want to get too far because of the bat squatch. I'm not going to say what it is. But that story was like, dude, like when you were telling me that, like what, and you had to wait to get more information. But, you know, it's like you get the inside track, and what you guys get is, it's not our fault. It's nobody's fault that we can't pump them out, you know, but there is so much more to this. If you had the inside track, like say, like I do, like Barton does, or one of our colleagues, just take a pick. There's a bunch of them. They get all these stories. There's all this information there, and all we can do is give it to you when we get it, or get as much of it to you as we can. But if you knew like the things that we knew, it would blow your mind, because I'd say we've probably, for Anthony, we've probably given 30% of what we got right now.
Yeah.
If you put a percentage on it for us, Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, just about 30 probably.
Probably 30% of what we got. And just some of the stuff that you've told me, Barton, and some of the people that you've had on, the witnesses, and they don't even always get to all of their stuff that they have to say. Even with a 3-hour recording, I did a 3-hour recording with a woman named Angela. Not this week, it's not next week, but the week after, right? We start with her?
Yeah.
Okay. There was still like another hour's worth of material left. We didn't even get to finish because she had so much going on. It was like beginning to end, And the same things happened with you. You've had so many people give you so much information, so many stories, that you've compiled them in books. You've talked about them on your show. You've been on other people's shows, and it's like there's no end. I mean, there's just so much of it. But it's when you've interviewed so many people, and Ken said this when he was helping me interview for the Dogman book, he was just like, he was blown away by some of the stories, and not all of them made it into the book. We could only put so many into the books, and you guys were a big help, but it was like so many people with so many stories that there is no way for somebody like you or I to be skeptical. It just doesn't happen. You can't do that. You cannot interview that many people with that many different stories and then say, well, I'm still not convinced, whatever. There's no way in hell. I mean, of course, I didn't have that to begin with at all because I've seen one of these things. Yeah. But others, and I may have seen one more than once, I don't know for sure. It was really quick. One day I was driving and I thought I saw something. I think I saw something, but I don't know. That wasn't too long ago. But I don't count it because it was dark, but something was on its hind legs, and it stood up, and it was right there I took you out there to the Turner Farm, and it was right there by Turner Farm. And so I was like, it was out there by the farm, and I said, dude, what the hell was that? And my wife was like, I don't know. But it had ears. I said, that thing just stood up, straight up. And she's like, did we just see a dog, man? I was like, we might have. And I said that on the show, but I didn't get into because I can't give you a real good description because it's so dark out there. And it's a very pretty place, and if you're there at night, you can see every star in the sky. There ain't a bunch of light pollution. So you're driving along, and you look in the rearview mirror, you can't really see. And so I don't know what it was. I really don't. But having seen one of these, had the encounter that I had when I was 15, I know what these things are real. There's no doubt in my mind. And that's the thing that you and I talked about, having had your encounters from when you were younger, what you went through on the farm. I mean, there's no, like, you're not in any kind of doubt, and you're not going out there so that you can be convinced. It's not like you're having to go out there because, that's not your thing. You're not out there like, I need to see this. Because some people, they're like, I have to see this for myself, and they're tromping around out in the woods, and they think they're gonna find something or whatever. And with you and I, we've already had encounters, and we don't need to go and be prove to ourselves. But there's a large part of the population that hasn't, and so they need to be convinced. And sometimes when I have conversations with people, they'll start trying to get me to somehow convince them, and I'll tell them, "Look, I know what you're doing. I don't care. I don't. If you believe or don't believe, you're believing it is not worth anything to me. I mean, it's not. I really don't care whether you believe or you don't believe, and I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you."
Yeah, you'll never convince someone who doesn't want to be convinced or doesn't have an open mind. And it's like I say, the truth will stick where it's supposed to stick, and it'll slide right off everywhere else. Mm-hmm. And, I've had a little head start on most of the people in this field today. In 2 years, I'll have 50 years experience in with this stuff. And that's a long time to experience things and find answers and come to what you feel are correct conclusions. So had a little bit of a head start on most of the people out there doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's important to know too, that it's not like you go out to the LBL to convince yourself, because you don't need to. I mean, you're out there
No,
because
absolutely not.
they're there. I mean, you know.
Right. Right. I
Yeah.
know they're there. And the last time I was there, I saw something like you did. I'm not sure what it was. I didn't see enough of it to say it was this or that, but it was definitely something. And we were down there spending a couple of days with Ron Moorhead. He come up and joined the Brotherhood and uh, hung out with us for a couple of days. We had some Bigfoot activity right there at the cabin, which really kind of surprised me because I've been going down there for so long and I've never had any problems, And me and Letitia, we camped on the alleged kill site, twice, and grilling steaks and frying bacon, nothing. But that night, we had Indy down there. Unfortunately, Indy had done fallen asleep, but 2 nights in a row, there was a lot of activity right around the cabin. And it's the first and only time I've ever drawn my sword while I was at the LBL. We were right beside a little creek and things started popping off in that creek. And I'm like, what in the world? Was it Wrangler's campground? I thought one of the horses had got loose and was coming down that creek. But no, and nothing ever showed itself. And I shined my flashlight over there, and couldn't see anything. And so I was standing by the campfire and I'm like, man, this is kind of crazy. And then it popped off again. And I thought, well, maybe I better get on the porch, with the porch light. So I went up to the porch and drew my sword. First and only time. Luckily, nothing happened. But yeah, I know they're there. I'm not convinced. I'm not trying to convince myself of anything. I already have my knowledge that I think is the right, correct conclusions about these things. So the only reason I'm there is to make a difference and try to put a stop to the attacks of the innocent women and children that are going on there. And there's things going on right there right now that only a very few people know about, and it's just a weird, crazy place that things happen there a lot. So I'm tired of everybody and just listen to everybody talk. You have these big, tough ex-Marines, ex-SEALs, ex-whatever, state policemen, these big, tough guys. They just talk. And I'm not a big guy, brother. I'm only 5'10", 160 pounds, but I want to make a difference. I want to put a stop to it, right? So I'm tired of hearing all the talk. It looks like somebody would have enough gumption to try to make a difference. But it seems like everyone's they're just, I don't know, they're just satisfied to sit around and talk about women and kids getting killed. And that's not me. I can't do that.
Yeah, I was going to say that somebody just asked a question in the chat. If you have any questions for Barton or I, just put them in capitals so we can see that it's a question and not just a comment. But somebody asked me, Danita says also, I guess she's trying to say Josh there. Josh, how did you just decide to write a book? I didn't just decide to write a book. It was like, I talked about this on Blondes and Booze a little bit last night, and it was Lyle. It was actually, I guess it was Lyle, Ken, and you, Barton, mainly, and
Right.
David.
I'm going to give a
David.
shout out to Blondes and Booze real quick, brother. Without those girls, Krista and Hollywood, you would never have seen the first live stream because
Oh yeah,
they really
Big
help
help
us
for
a
you.
lot, and we're proud to have them there helping us, and they do a great job. So shout out to Blondes and Booze.
Yeah, and I'm
Love
on
those
there.
girls.
I'm going to be on there every Thursday on Blondes and Booze on YouTube. I'm going to be on there the next 3 weeks for sure.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and I'll be there every Thursday, 8 o'clock. Just be there, Blondes and Booze. Go and check out the show last night. It was really good. I thought it was really good. But
Yes, it was. I was there.
yeah, and so to answer that question, I guess it was 3 or 4 people in particular, especially Lyle, because when I was driving back with him from the conference, it's a long drive, and we talked, and he was telling me everything about how he got to where he was to doing what he was doing, and he was an English major, like I said on the show last night. And
Yeah.
his dad was like, "You can do something with your degree," and so he decided to start writing into subjects that he thought he would be interested in, and he was really interested in the monsters and finding them, and that's what he
Sure.
did. And then one of my other inspirations was you. Sorry, Barton's book. I was gonna say
Well,
Ken's
Lyle and I
book.
look just
Lyle.
alike, you know. We could be,
Well, I was
we
gonna
could be
say
like
Lyle's
twins or
book
something.
Ken, which I don't know. I'm tired, but so Barton's book Inhumanoids. Not to take anything away from Mysterious Kentucky because it's just as good too. But I read that
thanks,
one
man.
second, after the Inhumanoids. Oh yeah, great books. And so tonight, if you stick around to the end, I'm going to actually I'm going to give away one of Barton Nunley's hats. I kept a couple for this occasion, and I'm going to give them away at the end of the show. We got go make sure we have a couple of them left up there. I think because I know we gave a bunch of them to Barton, and I hope you're putting them to good use. But
Yeah,
see if
we're
we have
definitely getting ready to-
book. See what we got. If we got Mysterious Kentucky, or if we got, I know we got some Inhumanoids. It's Mysterious Kentucky. We always got some. But so. I read your book and I thought I really want to write, and I wanted to write before I did the show, but I thought there's no way I can type, and so I decided that I would just do this, because I had Armando, my first co-host, who was just like, you need to do a podcast, you need to talk, and it was after I had been on that other show and just talking about the stories that I knew and what had happened to me, and so I thought, you know what, this is just what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do a podcast, whatever. But I never gave up the dream of actually doing a book, but I can't type. And so I had to figure it out. And then talking to you and talking to Lyle, and you guys were like, yeah, you should do it. And that's how it happened. And so I did it. It wasn't like something that I just woke up one day and said, oh, I just want to write a book. Is this the Inhumanoids? Yeah. Yeah, so here's Inhumanoids right here. That's the cover. Not the cover of the other one. The other one is really cool. That other cover, and that one, I have a copy of that one. But there it is, right there. There's Barton's auto, and this is thanks for. What does it say about PRT? It says thanks
for supporting PRT.
Supporting PRT. There you go. So that's Barton's book, and then here's the Barton Nunley hat. Right there, it says Inhumanoids on it. Barton Nunley's got his name at the bottom, kind of small, but yeah,
Great looking hat.
And that is the werewolf that Barton drew for the conference that we did for the first conference. So there's a conference shirt. Do we have any of those conference shirts left?
Yeah.
Do we have sizes?
I'm not sure. I think we only have like huge sizes left.
We'll go see what we got, because maybe if we have some that are a decent size for the first conference, we had a shirt that we made. We didn't make one for the second one. We just had too much merch to carry, and I was like, I don't want to have to carry and do more stuff. But we'll do 2 giveaways tonight, and we'll send somebody will get a Barton Nunley hat, and we don't have any shirts to give away. Barton Nunley's shirts. We sent them all to Barton. There was a Christmas present from me and the guys here. And Nelly.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and it was from 7 Clay, and they do really good work. Check them out online.
Great
7
work.
Clay, if you need anything printed. And Nia, thank you for that donation. But the books, we'll definitely see if we got we got a Mysterious Kentucky. We'll do a Mysterious Kentucky, and we'll give away a hat, and then we'll give away one of the conference shirts that Barton drew. He did that logo for the conference. It was really, really cool. And so
thanks to Christine Wilder for the compliment, and it was nice meeting you and your husband at the conference. It's so nice I can look at this chat room and I can put faces to a bunch of these names, and it's such a great thing, to have met so many of these people, all wonderful people.
Oh yeah, well, what about Gorelord? Can you put the face to his name?
No, I'm not really. No.
I'm just being snarky. But here's the other one. There's Mysterious Kentucky. Now that right there, that is a critter right there. Can you imagine running into that? Oh my God!
Right now, that's one of the creatures that were messing with us in 1975, Spotsville, Kentucky. The other type was the regular Bigfoot type, ape human hybrid, and that was something different.
There's the autograph at the top right there. It'll be on the intro page. But yeah, so those 2 books we're giving away. Somebody will get this one. Somebody will get the Inhumanoids, and because we have some other stuff to mail off, and so we can do that. Do we have the shirts?
We only have sizes 2X to 4X.
We have sizes 2X to 4X. So if you're a big fat person, you're gonna win. I'm joking. I'm a 5. So what am I saying?
And if you send me the shirt, I will cut the sleeves out for you personally.
dude, you did that to my Paranormal Roundtable shirts, and I was like, what are you doing? But
I made it better, brother.
Like,
That's what I was doing. I made the shirt better. And it was the
the
summertime,
only
you know.
shirt that he wore a sleeve on the whole time he was here was when we went to eat dinner at Eddie V's, and he wore that nice polo shirt. I got him a shirt, and I said, here, you got to wear this, because they have a little bit of a dress code, but you look nice. And Ken was shocked. Ken showed up with Ann to eat dinner with us, and Ken was like, oh, Bart, he's wearing sleeves.
Well, I do wear sleeves in the winter. Now, that's it.
Well, it was,
I
what
know
was
a
that?
lot
That
of
was
people don't
middle
believe
of
that, but-
October. That was mid-October right there.
Well, yeah,
So,
that was because it was a special shirt that you had just bought me, and I wasn't about to cut the sleeves out of that shirt.
Well, I figured that
Matter of fact, it still has its sleeves on the shirt right now. It's still attached.
Nelly was saying that as soon as he gets back to Kentucky, that shirt's he's gonna be wearing that without any sleeves. I was like,
No, it's still in one piece.
well, that's good. That's a good. You know what? Speaking of One Piece, that's actually, if anybody's ever, if they've heard of this, and I'm not talking about the live action, but Stefan, our roommate that lives with us, he rents a room from us, whatever. He's a really nice kid, and he talked us into watching that show. It's actually a really funny Japanimation show. So if anybody's interested in something funny to watch on Netflix, it's actually humorous Japanime. I'm not really into Japanime, but I watched it, and it was pretty good. So somebody will get this and one of these books. And now, if you're a size 2 to 4, you said?
Yeah.
If you're a size 2, 4, 3, 2, 3, or 4X, then we'll ship that out to you. It's one of the shirts that's from the logo. So if anybody's interested, let me know.
Right,
Yeah.
and Letitia just said in the chat that there are 2 or 3 books that I made one of a kind. I'm not sure I even told you about that, brother, but I did a little sketching in them. So yeah,
Oh,
2 or
that's
3
cool.
books that are
Really?
one of a kind out there.
You and Linda did the same thing. There was a couple books that
Really?
I'd given away, yeah. And Linda did little doodles on them. Linda Godfrey, she would do little cartoons, and I called her and I was like, Linda, I was like, this is back when she was still,
Yeah.
And I talked to her about it, and I said, did you mean to do that? Did you send these to me? And she's like, oh yeah, I wanted you to have those. And so I ended up giving 1 or 2 away. And she had done that there was 5 different books, and she had done that to 5 special ones, and they were for me, and they were on top, and I didn't know that, so I ended up giving a couple of them away, but that's okay. So somebody out there's got those, and I think
Right.
that's really, really cool.
It'd be something cool. And I signed a lot of books when we was down there, and 2 or 3 of them will be pleasantly surprised, I'm sure.
Well, hopefully they didn't get sold in Jefferson. Did we? They might have had somebody walking around and they might be like Ken and didn't even open the book.
Right, they might not ever know, right?
Yeah, Ken, it's funny that Ken had that book, and I said, Ken, why did you have the book if you never were planning on opening it? He claims he read it. He says he did. I was like, I don't know. I remain skeptical
when it was
on
first
that one.
published, I got 10 author copies, right? And I sent them to my friends, and Kim was one of them. Lyle, I think Lyle was. Linda, of course, Lauren Coleman, Nick Redfern, they all got free copies directly from me.
Well,
So
yeah,
that
and
was
we're now in
a long time
Lauren
ago.
Coleman's museum. You and I,
Right.
I think you and I are we're right next to each other, and I think we're right above or below Kenny Irish. So I thought that was cool. Lauren had sent me a picture
fantastic.
of that. So
And
yeah,
you're telling everybody how you got into this writing deal, and that's the same thing happened to me. I was just a guy that had a lot of experiences, and then I read Lauren's Mysterious America, and I thought, man, this is the coolest book I've ever read. This must be the best job on the planet, is go around getting these true stories of these creatures and writing books. I thought back then writing books would make you a lot of money, but I didn't realize you had to be Stephen King to make money writing books. But so that's how I got started. The idea was planted in my head to be a writer. I thought I want to be just like Lauren Coleman, and that's what without Lauren, I never would have picked up writing at all.
Yeah, it's funny. I talked to Lauren, when we were doing the whole thing with the action figures and all that, and he asked me when we were talking, and I had made these figures. What do you call them? The prototypes. And I told Lauren, I said, well, I got, you know, this guy, you know, whatever. And he's like, do you have anybody not from Texas? And he laughed. And I said, yeah, Barton Nunley. And then he just laughed. And then I said, well, I got Nick Valenti too. I was like, but other than that, yeah, most people are from Texas, you know, but yeah, he was thrilled with that. And then, you know, like I said, we ended up with those in the museum. So that's pretty cool. We'll be sitting there. If you go to the museum, the one in Maine, you'll see me and Barton right there next to each other.
Right. He has all my artwork too. All my original artwork that I did for Mysterious Kentucky and Mysterious Kentucky 2. I sent it to him to display in his museum. I'm not sure he's ever displayed it yet, but he has all the original. I kept one. My wife, Letitia, made me keep one original art piece, and I sent the rest to Lauren. So he's got all that stuff. And someone asked earlier if I did the artwork to my books, to both my books. I did the artwork for the first one, and some reprinted stuff for the second one, and a couple new pieces. And so the first one I did all the artwork for, but the other ones I was just able to do one or two pieces of art for, you know. I don't have time to write and illustrate all the books.
You know, you're also going to be immortalized on our board game. So you're going to be a piece in the board game,
great.
too.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. You'll have your bio on there and everything. Ken agreed to it, too. He's going to be on there. I forgot to ask Lyle when I was down in San Antonio when he was down there, but I'll message him and see what he says. I mean, you know.
Right.
But I wanted you guys, and then I was going to ask Nick, but, you know, Nick is now, you can't really communicate with him right at the time. But I forgot to tell Nick Redfern that I wanted him to do that, too.
So everyone that likes the book, in the Inhumanoids, they owe Nick a thank you, because if not for him, it never would have got published. I couldn't get it published in America. It was my second book that I wrote, and Mysterious Kentucky was published in 2007, and I wrote the Inhumanoids from like 2008 to 2009, but I couldn't get it published because everyone wanted to accept the manuscript, but they wanted me to change the ending, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, the book is the book. This is what it is. I'm not changing anything. So they're like, well, you know, all the publishing houses, they loved it, except for the ending. So it's set in inactive for a year or two. And Nick asked me, because I think he wrote one of the forwards to that book. Him and Linda both wrote a forward to that. Mm-hmm. And he said, whatever happened to the Inhumanoids? I'm like, I can't get anybody to publish it. He's like, well, send the PDF file over to me, and I'll send it to my buddy from CFZ, Jonathan Downs, and see what he thinks about it. So that's what I did.
Wrote the introduction.
Right, and so I sent it to him, and
then Linda wrote the forward.
Yes, exactly. And Jonathan Downs contacted me. He said, Bart, I love this book. This is like top 5 of all time Fortean works. I want to publish this book. And I was expecting to say, but you have to change the ending. But when I asked him, I said, okay, publish it just like it is, or do I have to change anything? And he said, don't change a word. Do not change a word. So if not for Nick, the Inhumanoids would probably still be stuck in an old computer somewhere.
And then it was you and him and Albert Rosales. Well, I actually talked to Albert earlier today about the UAP project. Albert. He's coming on in a couple of weeks.
Albert's a man.
He has done a humongous body of work.
Oh, it's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Incredible.
People have
volume.
No idea, dude. That Cuban works, boy. Let me tell you something, though. What that guy did, though, didn't he take y'all's money and go to, like, look for Makili Mbembe or something like that? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. I didn't get much money for that book, and it was number one in the U.S. and the U.K. sales for their publishing house for 2 years straight. And I didn't get very much money, like, you know, $30 every 2 or 3 months, and $19 the next time. And I'm like, yeah, this can't be a number one bestseller in both Britain and America. And I'm only getting $19 every couple months. Yeah. So
can't you redo the cover? You know, like redraw the cover with like that. You know, with something Barton Nunley. You know, just your own logo, whatever. And then republish it, self-publish it. It's yours, right? I mean, can't you do that?
Yeah.
I would do
I
that.
could. But I give my word to my publisher right now, and to do that, I'd have to break my word, brother. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah, you've talked to me about that, but I mean,
Yeah,
as long
I'm sure
as
I could make a lot more money and all that, but you know, at the expense of breaking my word, and you know, I don't know, bro.
yeah. I mean, you could always like make him, you know, an offer or something. We're talking over here, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it would be only fair for you to be able to, you know, make something out of it. You know what I mean? It just
Right.
it
Well, I
doesn't
was
seem fair
upset.
to
You
me.
know, I was kind of upset. I didn't get to pick any of the book covers, right? But the publisher did that. I got to pick Mysterious Kentucky, the new edition with the Spotsville Monster on it. Claudio Bergman, my good buddy from San
Usually
Francisco,
does really
he
good
did
work.
that. Yeah, he does great work. And but I didn't really get to pick any of the covers. And I'm like, man, I got 4 monster books here, and not a single monster on any of the covers. It's not right, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that Inhumanoids cover was pretty cool for a picture, but it's like this Renaissance picture, and you're like, what is that? It doesn't even like. It's a book about, you know, Inhumanoids, monsters, you know.
right. Yeah, I didn't like the cover that Jonathan Downs picked out for it. I was expecting a werewolf or a Bigfoot or something, and it was a priest being pulled up into the air by a bunch of little demons. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I see the connection, of course, but this is not what I envisioned that the book cover should look like. You know, I wanted something really sensational looking, but you know, you live and learn, brother, and I'm just happy that the book got published to be able to influence so many people now. And luckily for me, Jonathan Downs did publish the book, or like I say, no one would probably ever seen that. And it took me a long time to write that book, and I lost a lot of it in the 2009 ice storm. I lost about 30 or 40 pages. I couldn't recover because I hadn't saved it. You know, when the storm hit, I was still writing on the book. And so look, I'm kind of, you know, luckily I did, because it would have been a 500-page book if I didn't, and no one wants to read a 500-page
Yeah,
book.
what is it now? Like 450 or something like that?
444 pages, yeah.
444. There you go. Well, I knew it was something like that. It was a lot. Because like I said, I've read it twice, and well, I can't lie. I've read most of it the second time. I kind of, you know, like toward the end there, I kind of was like, and I didn't actually finish the last like bit. But I know it. I know that book. So, Ania, thank you for that donation. We also got a donation from Curtis Turner. Thank you for that donation. And then Brett Lawfer, thank you for that donation. You guys always come through and appreciate that. You're helping us. So let me ask you a question. Like, realistically, you know, for you, like, how do you see like the show? I mean, are you liking the direction it's heading, or do you think you want to do something else more to it, or would you gonna?
So my show?
What are we looking at? Yeah, what are we looking at here for your show?
Well, I'm doing all I can, brother. Honestly, I can't. Everything's done by me. I don't have 2 brilliant young PC whizzes, you know, like you do. So everything's done by me, and it really depends on how good I get at that editing software. I'm really just now figuring it out, man. It's been a year, so there's things on it that I haven't even tried. So hopefully it'll look, the videos will look a little more polished the better I get. But
Somebody's got a question for you there, brother. They said the other night on Barton's channel, the guest preacher was very interesting. I'm going to rewatch. Question for Barton: will the preacher be back on Barton's channel?
So Lolo, you must be talking about Pastor Rudy. And yeah, I would love to have Pastor Rudy back on. He's an amazing man. And like I say, he's like the Mexican Johnny Henderson. I've never met so many.
From Cryptid Studies Institute, a good friend
righteous,
of ours.
yeah, right, the late Johnny
Passed
Henderson.
away.
And such righteous men, you know, and with people like that, you know, they're not going to tell you no lies. And that's the main thing for me is I don't want to get up there and even accidentally spread a lie. And so I've been extremely fortunate and blessed. The good Lord is sending these people my way. And what they say is really amazing. I mean, Pastor Rudy, he's actually casting out demons from people. So it's really had a few guests that's been head and shoulders above most of what is being put out there about people now. And Mr. T, he'll be back in a couple of weeks, and everybody's still talking about him, and he's still having all kinds of stuff happening.
He was a good guest too. All of your people that you've had on there have been really good. I can't think of one show that was a dud. I think you've been knocking it out of the park.
Well, thanks, brother. And same for you. You've been doing it for years now, and you knock them out of the park every time, you know. And it's a pleasure to watch. I'm on this phone so much, I hardly ever get to sit through a whole live stream.
Yeah.
I had to sit down with every intention of watching the live stream, and then the phone will ring, and it'll be somebody important, and I'll be like, oh.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I was watching your show, like, I didn't get to catch the last 2 weeks because I was just on conference calls, and I was, one of them was like, I was looking at the clock, and I was like, I'm going to show up. I'm going to whatever. And then we had to go and run an errand and pick up a couch. And so I was like, dude, by the time I got home, it was, but all except for the last 2 episodes, I've seen most of those, and they were really good. Everything you've done has been excellent. And definitely credit to Blondes and Booze for the help. And I think you and Letitia are knocking it out of the park, and you'll continue to do that. I think it's your calling. Yeah, for sure.
Well, like I say, I never envisioned myself doing this at all, ever, until the first conference you put on, and you and a couple of other guys really kind of talked me into it. I don't know how you did it, but here I am, and I'm just trying to improve. And as long as I tell the truth, it might be a little rough and crude compared to these other polished productions, slick
that's the way it's got to
productions.
be.
But that's the way it has to be for now until I get better.
And I think Johnny would be proud of both of us. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Of course, I met him, because of that whole thing with the LBL, and through that I got to meet you, and me and you had corresponded. Actually, I went back and I looked. We'd corresponded a couple times, but it was just like me saying, "Hey, I would like you to be a guest on my show," and then you had said, "No, I'm out of that whole thing, and I don't do that no more."
Right, I quit. I'd walked away from all
nice
of it.
About it.
Well, you and Johnny are the ones that brought me back into this, man.
Yeah.
I'd already had enough of the drama and the lies and the people out there just trying to make the profiteers, and
grifters,
attention seekers, grifters. It was just too much. And the time that I spent away from this field was very peaceful. I had to say that I didn't have to worry about who this guy's saying this or whatever. I've been called everything under the sun. And it doesn't bother me, But I can't hardly sit back and let somebody, belittle me without saying something, So, but because you guys drew me back in, I've met several more people that I consider my brothers, and that's a blessing for sure, and it's worth the trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, if you look at like the people that we've been able to, like Martin and Daryl and all the different people that have come into our lives, through this. I mean, it balances it out. I mean, definitely there's been some bad miscreant people, but in any field you're in, there's going to be that. In the security field, there's some real slimy scumbags, and you're always sitting there going like, how do these people get away with this crap? And you're like, it's like there's no regulations or something. But then, And when I was, back in the old days, there was nothing but slimy people. And so now, dealing with the people that are the bad people, they're a small percentage, really, compared to the good people that we've dealt with and met and over the years. And I'm glad that your thing's taken off. I can tell you this, you're definitely an icon in this field. And I look at this situation like, you and 3 or 4 of them other guys, that I had mentioned, y'all, we've become very close, and you don't pull any punches. The thing I like about you, and I'd say David Wedley, Lyle, and Ken, is just if I ask you guys a question about something, what do you think of this? You don't lie to me. You don't tell me, oh, that sounds great. There's no smoke. You just tell me very matter of fact. Nick Radford's another one, just tells you straight up, look, I was on the phone with a mutual friend of ours, Chris Garitano, last night, and he's another one. I like him. He just says it straight out.
I like Chris.
Yeah, Chris is very honest. He's a filmmaker, and he's about to do some really big things. He's already done some big things. But he's going to do more. And he was just like, brother, and he talks just like you do. Y'all call me brother, all of y'all. When Ken answers the phone, he's like, hey, brother, that's how you all talk to me. And you treat me fair, and you tell me the truth. And I've had some ideas. I'm not going to lie. And y'all were just like, oh, whoa. Let's not do, and I've had to say, okay, maybe I'm wrong. But then there've been some ideas that I've had that I think really did well, but that's
Yes,
what
for
people or
sure.
friends are for. That's what brothers are for. I do really wish that Johnny was still here, and I wish he could see you
Me
on your
too.
show. I know he would have been, man. He was something special. Him and April, and the Lord took
Yeah.
them as almost as a blessing. He took them close to one another. They were just so inseparable.
Right.
So it
Yeah,
was
and they
almost
were.
like
And when
he
when
was in a
April
lot of
passed,
pain.
while he was, yeah, and when April passed, he, of course, how you would feel if you lost your wife, and I know how
Oh
I'd feel if I
man,
lost
yeah.
mine. It was
We're all very close to our wives.
right,
You
and
know.
so he just kind of, I don't know, he just kind of wanted to join her, right? It seemed like to me, and it's just a very sad thing. At least I did get to meet Johnny and then spend some time with him. I stayed the weekend. Me and Letitia at his house several times, and he's just an awesome man. And he was impeccable in his walk with God. He was not willing to change one thing.
Compromise for
He
anything.
did not compromise any of his religious principles at all.
Mm-mm.
And we went down there one weekend, and we were in Werewolf Springs there in Tennessee, and it was so hot, and we were sweating, and I guess it was about 100 degrees. It felt like, and I said, "Hey, bro, let's go. I got somewhere we can go and get a cold soft drink or something." We was just
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to leave. He goes, "Yeah, we can't do that, brother." I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, we can't. We can't actually go anywhere and do any business on the Sabbath day. It was a Saturday."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well,
He's a Seventh Day Adventist.
Seventh Day
Yeah.
Adventist. And the only
Mm-hmm.
difference between them and the other Christians is they still keep the original Sabbath day, which was Saturday, not Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, "Yeah, so if we go and get something to drink," I said, that's not working." He goes, "Yeah, but the person who sells us that drink and gives us that drink
Mm-hmm.
has to work to do it." I said,
Yep.
"Oh, okay, I gotcha."
Yeah, him and
So he was
Elijah have both
uncompromising,
explained that to me.
right? And
Yeah.
Elijah and Gabby, they're the same way. They're salt of the earth people, and just a huge blessing to know these people, and especially to have known Johnny. Uh, I missed meeting April by just a couple of days. We had planned on going down there, and she got in the hospital, and Letitia said, "Honey, we need to go on down there." I said, "Well, shouldn't we wait till she gets out of the hospital and to go see her?" And she's like, "No, I think we need to go now." And uh, talked her out of it, and she was gone in like a couple of days. I wanted to wait till she got better, because I promised I would take her creek walking and teach her how to hunt for arrowheads in the creeks down
Arrowheads.
there. But yeah, missed her by a couple of days. I should listen to my wife and went down there. But regret's part of life, and there's not a single soul walking around out here that doesn't have some degree of regret.
We all do. I do.
Right?
Well,
No,
it
I
is
do.
what it is. I mean, you can't beat yourself up. You do try to do what's right. And, you've been a very good and loyal friend to me, and you're a loyal
Well,
friend to
thanks, bro.
PRT and the show. And we appreciate your, showing up. And thanks for coming in. I mean, on
Well,
short
you're
notice.
welcome.
And
Anytime I can help my friends, I'll do it. And it's something that everyone should be that way. If you see a friend that needs some help, then go give it to him, and don't expect anything in return. And I'm that way with all my friends, and I keep telling people that I'm not going to do any more of these shows, and then one of my friends asked me to, and it's like, well, these people have helped me, and they're my family, and they need me, so there you go, and here I am.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
and
a pleasure to
so
be here as always. It's been
yeah,
a
of
long
course,
time since I've been
absolutely.
here.
We got to do this giveaway. Let's give this stuff away, man. We have a 2, 3X, and 4X shirt. So what we got to do? Let me get this notebook out so I can write down.
Just hang in there, Gore Lord. Everything's going to be all right. And thank you, Anea, for the compliment. You're awesome too.
Yeah, I mentioned his name earlier because of the.
Nikki G, yeah, he's like a sister to us.
So let's see what we got here. I'm going to let you pick somebody who has not won the giveaway. To be honest with us, because it'll show up in the computer whenever we go to do it. So if you haven't won and you have a size 2, 3, or 4X, let me know. Because one of the things we're going to do is we're going to give away one of those shirts. So somebody says, I've never won. Joyce Perfecto. You never won, Joyce? You've been around for a long time. Let me ask you, Joyce, what size are you? If you're that size, if you can use that, let me know. Cadegas of Codex of Curiosities. Now, isn't that Rye? Isn't that you, Voss? If that's you, then I can't sip it in Mexico, unfortunately. But there's a lot of different people on here. Can you see the chat, Barton?
Yes.
Yeah, you want to pick
Are
somebody
we giving
there?
away a T-shirt?
Yeah, we can give away a T-shirt, a 2, 3, or 4X. We can do 2 of them. I mean, I don't care. Go ahead. Pick
Let's
somebody
give
and I'll
one
pick
to-
somebody.
I'll pick Christine Wilder. If I have to pick, she's
Christine
such a
Wilder,
nice.
has she ever
Yes.
won before? She says I'm an XL, so that won't work. Christine won't work.
Oh well, maybe a book or something then.
Yeah, you can give her a book and a hat. Do you want to wear the hat, Christine? Be honest. Will you wear this, Christine? Because if I don't see you wearing it, I'm gonna come down there. I don't know where you live, actually. I'm joking.
Well, yeah, she's such a nice lady, and it's hard to pick
Yeah.
anyone from the. They're all so nice. I love all the
Yeah,
PRT
it's hard.
family. You know, they're fantastic people. And the reason I picked her was because she was so nice at the conference. You know, and her and
Sure.
her husband Brody.
So
they were-
Christine, she says, I'll still take anything. Yes. Okay. So Christine, we got you. Remember, guys, send it to the email address, Josh Turner, what is it, prtpodcast.com?
Yeah.
Okay. So send it to, and then somebody says here, okay, this chat's moving so fast. I'm trying to keep up here. Joyce Perfecta says, I'd love a book and hat. Okay. But Joyce, we only had 2 of the hats now. We've given 1 away. So the other one, I mean, do we have any more? I don't know if we have any more hats.
Any more of those?
I think there's only 2.
I can go check.
Yeah, go check. But if you want, Joyce, we can give you one of the shirts. Just give us your size. So I'll put you down, Joyce. Joyce, I'll give you that.
Right, and Brett asked if the hats are for sale anywhere. No, you have to come to Inhumanoids with Barton only to get a hat if you can't get one from Josh. He sent me a whole box of them, and we're giving them away. So if you're not subscribed, come on over, and we'll be giving away at least 1 item every live stream or more. It's so much fun giving to people, right? My favorite live stream so far has been the one where we spun the wheel and had so much merch to give out. People were just so happy, and I love making people happy like that.
Yeah, that's a fun part of it. We had to stop for a while because somebody claimed that we used their address as a home invasion because she's a psycho person, but
Right.
whatever. That's
unfortunate, and just because of something like that, brother, we went and got us a PO box. So I'm not giving out my home address, and it's not that I'm worried about anything like that.
well, this person, it was something
better
we.
safe
It
than
was
sorry.
from Bettina's show. This woman never liked me, and she said that. That's what's his name from AI's buddy, and she's like, I never liked you. She won the giveaway on Bettina's show. She was in Bettina's check. She was never in mine. She
Yeah.
didn't like me, so somehow she ended up winning. And of course, she used that against us and tried to say this bull crap. And I was like, yeah, right, lady.
Right.
I'm going up to Virginia, West Virginia, wherever the hell it is, to come to your house. Yeah, right.
Very
But
unfortunate
anyway.
that people act like that. Brother Larry Joe, I will definitely save you a hat for Alabama.
So here, let's see. We got who else has been around for a while? Hasn't one tripping up on you? Says I can do this, but not comment normally for 3 days. What does that mean?
He must have gotten unsubscribed.
Oh yeah, you got to resubscribe because you can't comment if you're not a subscriber. These people that were attacking us. It's another unfortunate thing is just
Right.
and then Morgan.
I'm
who's
thinking
Morgan?
about doing
She
that
says,
myself.
You need to. You don't want to let people comment unless they're subscribed. Trust me, because
Yeah.
then if they're going to troll, they're going to pay for it by subscribing. This is the bottom
Right.
line.
Well,
And
the
then-
first few shows, brother, we didn't have any trolls at all. I was like, wow, this is amazing. we haven't had to delete one bad comment or kick anybody out. And then the last few, they've been, steadily creeping in there with saying nasty stuff that's inappropriate, and
They will.
stuff like that. So, yeah, don't like that. But I don't like. One thing I can't deal with is disrespect. I don't disrespect anyone, and I don't like it when they do that to me. So,
Yeah, exactly. Anybody that disrespects you, they're obviously automatically my enemy too. I don't care. I mean, like,
thanks, brother. I feel the same way.
people told me, they're like, well, there's one or two people that said, don't you regret backing up Abe and Bettina? And I said, no, I don't. And I know it caused me a lot of pain.
Right.
And I can't control what their actions are, but I'm going to back up my friends.
It caused us both a lot of trouble. And, I backed you up, and you backed them up, and I backed you up. And then the next thing you know, we got voodoo curses flying around left and right.
And it sounds funny, but it's the truth.
Right.
I mean,
it sounds funny,
we were all
but
having
really
the same dreams. It was, dude, I'm telling you, these people are nasty people, folks. I'm not joking. They do some bad stuff. He's not kidding. These people did some stuff, dude. I'm telling you. And Bettina had it happen. Letitia, me, Maddie, all of us had things, And the dude even said, he goes, I'm going to go after everyone who came to his aid. And I was actually coming to someone else's aid. And then it's just like World War I. It just drug everybody into it. And, and we've been fighting ever since. But, these people have they don't work. When you don't work, you don't have anything to do. I mean, you're going to do, that's what you do. And we got businesses to run, and we got a lot of things we got to take care of. And we actually put together quality programs, they don't. And they have all the time in the world to throw curses. So whatever.
Right.
Thank you for that donation. Yeah, it's an unfortunate part of what we do, folks. We take it on the chin sometimes. We get punched, and you got to keep going. You got to punch back and keep going. T. Tui, thank you for that donation. We appreciate that. And then Tripping Up on You, thank you for the donation. So we've gotten so far Christine Wilder, and we got Joyce Perfecto. You guys send me your information to JoshTurnerPeerToPodcast.com, and then we'll get your stuff out to you. Anthony, you want to pick somebody? Somebody else who wants a shirt? Somebody wants a shirt? Let me know, because all we have is 2, 3, and 4. You don't have to say your shirt size on here, but if you're one of those sizes, or you can give it to somebody that you care about, just let us know right now so we can give you a shirt.
All right, let's see. Let's pick. Has Lolo won? Because this is like the third person I've seen say to pick Lolo. Where are you at?
Where is she? If she says it herself, because other people can say it, but she's got to say it herself.
You got to comment if you ever won, Lolo.
Lolo says,
otherwise we got to move on.
Well, she says, I don't need to win. I have already won with amazing friends. Like, well, so you don't want anything? I guess she's saying she doesn't want anything.
She's saying she's already a winner just by being associated with you guys, brother.
So in other words, she's saying she doesn't want our merchandise.
She said, hang on, she said, I would love a 4X.
There you go. Okay.
There we go.
So let's do that, and we'll put your name down, let me know who you are, and say, hey, I'm Lolo from, and then.
Yeah, you have to send the email saying your name and your mailing address and your size.
And let me know what book you want, because I got these two here. Do we have more of these? How many do we have of those? I didn't see a whole lot left of Barton's.
Oh, I don't know how many exactly, but we have a bunch of Barton's books.
But we have a bunch of that book. Do we have this one? Well, it doesn't matter. We'll look. We'll see. We have enough for this giveaway anyway. I think we have a lot of that one, but not that one. But anyway, good. Says what I want for Christmas is an autograph. What does he say? He's moving so fast.
Yeah, I can't read it. It's moving so fast.
Yeah. Josh Turner's autograph book. Junior, the best way to get that is to join the Patreon. That's the best way to get that book. I'll do a giveaway one day on here for some of my books, autographed. We'll do some giveaways. We're going to start doing the giveaways more often. We just got to keep up with it. And the hard thing is we have so much to do every freaking day and week. And today was payday for our people, and so it was like we were doing payroll all day. Let's see here. That's why it was so aggravating when that dude canceled on me like an hour before the show. You know, I'm like, come on, dude. Whatever. So Rich Dahl says I want to win the humanoid cookbook. Is Letitia really doing a cookbook?
No, that's funny, Ristol. Martin Groves he thinks that Letitia's barbecue dip is the most wonderful thing on the face of the earth, and he just loves it. We have to bring him a jug, make him a jug every time we meet. So that's what he's talking about.
Barton, you're a very generous guy, and Martin is a very good guy too. He is a nice.
Well, so are you, brother.
Person, dude. I try to be, but.
Oh, you are. You're real good to everyone.
Author and illustrator B.J. Lapierre and B.J. or is it B.J. Moore? What is that? It says I have never won, but would love the Inhumanoid book. Okay, so you picked. We had Christine Wilder, Joyce Perfecto, and we got Lolo. So I tell you what, we got 3 people already, and we got to make sure that we don't overload ourselves with what we have to give away. If you come back on Sunday, you remind me. If I see you or tomorrow night, I'm going to do the UAP project, and I'll probably do a giveaway tomorrow night, and we'll do it again on Sunday. So we'll do some more people, and what we're trying to do, we're going to get about like 15, 20 people, and just mail it all at once. So you may have to wait a week or two after we get it all together, folks. I hope you can be patient, but we'll get it done. We just mailed off a bunch of stuff like a week or two ago, and it was like 15 people. So that's it for tonight.
Blessings to you too, Charlie, my friend. We appreciate it. And, while we have hats and T-shirts that we'll be giving away, so if you guys aren't subscribed to Letitia and my channel, feel free to come over and subscribe. And like I say, we have enough things now to give away at least a hat or a shirt or maybe 2 each live stream that's coming up. So come on over if you haven't been there. We'd love to have you. And any friend of Josh is a friend of mine as well.
Same for you, Barton. Yeah, and so everybody, if you go and you check out Barton, he comes on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. Now, I am on 7. Ours is a pre-recorded. There's a chat and everything on there, but it's only an hour long, and it goes from 7 to 8, and then you can just jump right over and go to Barton's show.
I would love to have them, and we was wanting to do a live stream the other night, and Letitia's like, let's do a live stream, and I had to sit and think, are we going to be stepping on any of our friends' toes? We have to do it on a time that we don't interfere with our friends, and that's just being courteous. So, yeah, and it's great to have you on Wednesdays just before me, brother. Maybe I can get some of your traffic. That would be good.
Yeah. Well, they'll jump over. I mean, and then Thursday, I moved it from Thursday to Wednesday before you because I didn't want to step on your toes, but I had to do Blondes and Booze on Thursday to help them out.
Yeah.
And so I not just help them out, but I want to be a part of what they're doing. I think they're gonna eventually catch on and blow up. They have really good stuff. And I wish people would go and give them a chance and listen to them because they always do really well. They have good guests. They do a good job.
Yes, exactly. And we love you too for wishing. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked Blondes and Booze out yet, please go subscribe and maybe give them a like and a comment. Like you say, they do really good work, and they're more bent toward the ghostly spectral phenomena, but they do cryptid stuff and humanoid stuff and stuff like that. So yeah, give them a chance. You guys will like them.
Mm-hmm. No, they do good work. So I'm going to let you run, brother, so I can close the show out. Thank you for showing up, man, and I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome, brother. And Phil Stern, I will do. We're thinking about doing a live on Saturday night. So, you can. I'd love to. I hope your hand's doing better, and prayers for you, brother.
Are you going to be on tomorrow night?
Well, we're thinking about it, man. I have so much to do. I have so much editing. I got 2 videos already waiting to be edited. One for the subscribers and one for the members. And but yeah, so Saturday night seems to be a free night, and I just found a place today that would be great to do a live stream in. And So
Because
yeah,
I'm doing my
we might see
UAP
it.
project. Yeah, I'm doing my UAP project every Saturday for the next
Oh,
2
are you?
months. But yeah, but don't let it stop you. I mean, like if you're doing
No.
that,
Yeah.
we can
What
figure
time
it
is
out.
it?
Well, I was going to
Yeah.
do mine at like 8 o'clock, but I don't care. I can do it later if
Right.
you want to do yours early. I don't want to step on your toes.
No, brother. We'll just we'll work it out. We can do ours. So I like to do mine just right before dark and up into the dark, so people can kind of see where I'm at.
Hmm.
Because once it gets dark on you, all you can see is what's in the flashlight.
Yeah,
But
I did that the
yeah,
other night.
we'll just do it a little early. Yeah,
Yeah.
work out
Well,
fine.
let me know about what time you're going to be going to what time, and then I can plan it. Because tomorrow night I got Jason McLean on, and it's going to start the UAP project. We're going to start
Yeah,
it
cool.
off. Yeah, and it's
I'll
going to be on
try to be here
Saturdays.
before you can catch that.
Yeah. So if you guys are going to go live and do some work out in the woods or whatever, just let me know when, like what time to what time, and we'll coordinate it. So
Right, sure, brother.
yeah.
Sounds good. And thanks for everyone showing up tonight. You're probably the GOAT, brother. I always said you're the GOAT when it comes to telling stories, and I wish I could speak as good as you, but
You write better
everybody
than
that
me.
well,
So
well,
it
that's a
all
whole
works
different
out.
thing, right? That's why I'm a writer and not a public speaker.
Well,
But
you're
everyone,
doing fine. I knew you would, and it's just a matter of time. You just started
thanks,
out.
brother.
You're already. What do you like at 5,000? How many subs you got?
No, he's over
6?
6,000.
6,000. Look at that.
I think like
6,620 or something
I
like
think
that.
him and Matt Imps both. They just came out of the gate, just
Yeah.
just came
Right.
out blowing it up, man. That's
well,
awesome, dude.
it's hard to do when the platform is arbitrarily unsubbing 50% of the people that come on and subscribe. Right? I kept a close watch a few days ago, and I was checking my the analytics in the YouTube studio, and every hour I would check, and they took 23 subs away in 24 hours. So it's hard. It's like you're swimming upstream against a really swift current, but it's what you have to it's what you have to put up with, and there's really no substitute for YouTube. Everybody says go to Rumble, but I go to Rumble and there's hardly anyone on there. So, but yeah,
I know.
I'm fortunate to have so many friends and so many people that believe in me and people that trust me to tell their stories for them and read their messages, and just going to continue to do that and try to improve and just continue to tell the truth. And I know that makes some people mad, but that's what I'm here for. The truth isn't something that makes you comfortable. It's a very
We don't need their
uncomfortable
approval to tell the truth. That's that,
Right.
You can be people mad. They get mad, and you're like, why are you mad? Like another YouTuber that attacked us when all that stuff was going on, and I'm like, because we talked about Social Blade, and I was like, oh, you and Bart, so well, why are you mad? Unless you got something to hide, it's like, why are you mad at us?
Right.
Or you could
Well,
just do
I'm just
everybody a
telling the
favor and
truth,
shut
and
up.
people can take it or leave it. I'm going to tell the truth no matter what. And I just found out you can also buy. Not only can you buy subscribers, but you can buy views.
Views.
I'm like, what? And look,
And
unbelievable!
comments,
It's a
apparently,
marketing
too.
strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn, who can you
AI
trust anymore?
stories, they use AI stories, and then they
AI
buy
stories
subs,
and
views, and
fake
comments.
views. So, and when you click on the YouTube, you want to see a video about Dogman, right? You could go to YouTube. There's 4 or 5 thumbnails that you can choose from, and one's got 800,000 subs and 400,000 views, and the other one's got 6,000 subs with 2,000 views. Which one are you going to click on, brother?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
You're going to
somebody
click on the
just
one
said
that's
right there,
most popular. I've done it
Mickey
myself
G
over
says
and
that's
over.
cheating. It is cheating. Yeah.
Right? It's theft by deception. They're stealing your time and stealing your attention. And making you think that they're more popular somehow than the smaller channels, but in reality, they're feeding you a lot of crap that's AI generated fiction, packaged and sold as truth, and that's theft by deception. And so I've never bought a subscriber and I never bought a single view and never will. What I get is what I get, and I'm not going to resort to any of that underhanded stuff and trickery and fakery. You'll
How
never see that
ironic,
from
too.
me.
It's funny because, like you in truth, we were on the phone together, all three of us, when you guys told me about the Social Blade thing. And it's funny because he's called Truth, Truth and Bass.
Yeah.
And you and Truth
Right.
were on there telling me about the Social Blade. And the people that we
Couldn't believe
found, and there's some people, we didn't call them out. We didn't call them out. We just let it go. There were some that we found that we were very disappointed in. We thought that they were legit, and they weren't. They were not.
Right.
And we just said, hey, we're not going to say anything. It's not our deal. We had our
Right.
issues with certain people, and we found out that they were all frauds. But those other
It's not
people,
my job to. Yeah, it's not my job to.
I'm not the internet
sink anyone's
police.
boat, or I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the internet police, and you stay in your lane, and if you can get 100,000 people to believe your fiction, and I can only get 5,000 to believe my truth, well, that's the way it is, and. Our paths don't need to cross. You don't need to mention my name, and I won't mention yours. It's really that simple.
Exactly. That's what, and it was disconcerting, But then right after the Social Blade thing, I got attacked by two different YouTubers, podcast, whatever, and they were very upset with me. And I was like, "What are you mad about?" And then I thought,
Right.
"Oh, okay, I know what this is because of the Social Blade thing."
Yeah,
And so
revealing
there's a lot of
the-
people that would like us just to get out of the way and go away
Sure.
or whatever. Well, that's too bad because, I'm not going anywhere. I know you're not going anywhere. And they can just go pound salt because pound sand, whatever, because they're
Right.
mad, and it's very simple. They're fake. They're frauds, and they're being exposed for that.
Yeah.
And they're mad.
And their subs, their subs are fake, and their views are fake. And even if they got 1 million of them, they're pretty cheap to buy. But they still everyone's attention, and I do it myself. I find myself doing it. And I click on the one with the most views, thinking it's more popular, so it has to be better.
It's human
Right.
instinct. It's natural, Yeah. Mike Turner says, what's comical, you, Josh, and Barton are probably doing better than them, despite the fact they're cheating. Yeah, despite the fact they're cheating, yeah. And Mike, I actually drove him to the airport with Garetano, and we talked about that. And Chris was like, keep doing what we're doing it correctly while everybody else is doing fake and whatever. Eventually, you'll break through, and it doesn't matter. They can lie and cheat all they want because they have to keep doing that to keep whatever. And it's really not sustainable. At some point, they're going to be, you can't do that forever. People are going
Right.
to catch on that you are a fraud, and that's just
Yeah.
as simple as that. And if they don't, the people that don't, they're the poorer for it, but this field is the richer for having guys like you and Garetano in here and doing what you're
Thanks,
doing.
brother. You too. You're doing great work, and you're helping people, and you're magnanimous, and you're extremely charitable and generous, and it's great to have you as a friend, and it's been my pleasure and honor to be friends with you for so long.
Same here.
Looking forward to the future and what it might hold.
Oh yeah, definitely. As long as you stay healthy, man. I'm glad you got over that cough because there was about 5 or 6 of y'all that were just coughing. Nobody could
Oh,
get
my
that
goodness.
cough.
It took me 100
Anthony had
days,
it,
and
you
check
had it.
this out. It was so strange. So it took me like 100 days to get over the cough, and I'm doing great. And then getting ready for the live stream, and I wake up that day and I start coughing again. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I'm coughing pretty bad, right? And then right before the live stream, 2 hours before the live stream, I get a migraine headache. I thought, wow, the devil really doesn't want
what are
anybody
the
to hear
odds?
Pastor Rudy, right? He doesn't want people to hear Pastor Rudy and what he's got to say. So, I lay down in the room, turn the lights off, and a complete dark and silence, and got over the migraine. But the cough, as soon as I was done with the live stream, the cough went away. I haven't coughed at all. So it's very strange. But
Phil
Pastor
Stern
Rudy,
says
pray for
somebody slipped
everybody.
you a Pepsi.
Yeah, no, they can't get away with that, Brother Phil. You know better than that. One sip,
all
and
right,
I'd say, hey,
Barton, man.
this is not Coke.
Yeah, exactly. I know you love Coke, man. Coca-Cola, man. That's your thing, dude. No Shasta. We get it. No Shasta, no Pepsi.
Right.
All right, Barton. I'm going to let you run, man. I'll see you, brother. We'll be
All right,
in
brother.
touch.
Have a good night. And all the paratroopers, God bless each and every one of you. And thanks for listening. Hopefully I'll see you again and talk to you again soon.
Yeah, be sure to check them out on Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock. And tomorrow, maybe, if you're going to do it, let me know, and I'll advertise for you on the show. I'll let them know whether you're going to do it or not.
All right. I appreciate it, brother. Y'all have a good night. God bless everyone.
I'll see you, Barton.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. So Barton Nunley, folks, of course, everybody knows Barton. He's a friend of the show, and he's a legend. Been doing this before I was ever thought of in this field. And him and those other handful of guys I mentioned in particular, very instrumental in helping me. And I couldn't have done it without those guys, you know. And it's the truth. I mean, you know. I just, you owe certain people credit, you know. And I'll take it a step further. I'll say this. I mean, I'll be honest. I was on that other show. I'm not going to say the name of it because I don't want to, you know, whatever. But I was on another show, and most of y'all know that when I first, and everybody was like, "Oh, he gave you your start." Yeah, until I decided to do this, then there was a problem. I mean, simple as that. I mean, it was like he was cool about it at first, and then it was like, "Well, I'm not going to promote you. I'm not going to help you. I mean, you want to be promoted, come back on my show." You know, and I'm like, very disappointing. People you think you're friends, and you know, not the kind of people these other guys are. I mean, put stipulations on our friendship. It's not predicated on what I can do for you, you know. So, let's recap real quick before I go. Christine, Wilder, Joyce, Perfecto, and Lolo. And Christine, I think Joyce and Lolo are getting shirts, I believe. Christine gets the hat. That's correct. I think that's correct. And then, do we have enough books? We'll give you a book. Let me know, because I got Mysterious Kentucky and Inhumanoids. But I think I have way more Mysterious Kentucky. I don't think I have very many Inhumanoids. So it'll probably be two of y'all will get the Mysterious Kentucky, and the other one will get Inhumanoids. So that's what's going to happen. I'll tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to pick some more people, and we're going to send a bunch of people stuff, because it's been a long time coming. And be sure and listen to, go to the Paranormal Roundtable group, and you can win an autographed book from one of many authors from the Tuesday and right now what is Wednesday's shows. Those links will be put onto the Paranormal Roundtable group. You go and you leave a comment, you win an item. We do giveaways again. We're not going to let these people stop us, okay? Chickens McGee or whatever the hell they're called, whatever it is, with their ridiculous bull crap. So that's it. Thank you for everybody that donated. We appreciate it. Everybody that's been so kind and generous as to donate and help out with our show. It goes towards doing a whole lot of stuff. I hope everybody enjoyed the song that Nelly wrote. It was, you know, you want to play that?
Yeah, I can play that right now.
I'm going to play it. For you that didn't hear it at the beginning, or for you guys that didn't hear it yesterday during the impromptu live stream we did. And then I got to go to the gym and then do guard checks and then be up till 7 or 8 in the morning. And I'm tired. Pray for me, folks, please. I got a strong battery, man, but sometimes it wears. I'm just tired, you know, sometimes.
Who's holding my hand in the darkness? Seeing ghosts down the hallway. There's a presence, bedroom shadows, cloaked and haunting me. Cold hand touching me. Fear overwhelming me. Tapping at my window. I can't bear to open my eyes. A breath on my neck. Floating apparitions everywhere.
So there you have it, folks. We'll see you tomorrow night with the UAP project. It's going to be off the chain, man. It's going to be fun. Jason McLean, I believe Chris James is going to be there. It's kind of going to be kind of open. I might have the thing open to where some other people can jump on. If you want to talk about the UAP, and it's not just about aerial phenomena, okay? We're not just going to be talking, we're talking about aliens, abduction. We're talking about where they stand, these people, and what they think, and it's going to get deep. Okay? Thank you. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow night, and then we'll see you again on Sunday. And I know it makes some people jump for joy and others to gnash their teeth. It's a fact. We're going to be on 6 nights a week if you count me on with Blondes and Booze. Yeah. And then the other days and nights, and my friends are going to be there, and just going to have to deal with it, man. Too much fun. Too much fun. All right, guys. Good night and God bless.